Welcome, paranormal seekers, and let us go into the abyss. Join us to open your mind, both of your ears, and all three of your eyes, and discuss all things supernatural. We believe that we all learn from each other, and we all have a lot to learn. What will you learn today? Here are your hosts, Paranormal Investigator Sean Gilmore and Chaos Witch Zorina Crow.
I got to do it. Zarina. Crow. And you know what? It doesn't look as cool since I shaved this off. I hate looking at myself right now.
I
hate
think
it.
you look. No, I love it. I think you look
do?
so fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, I went on a hike on
if
Saturday.
You were single, I would definitely swipe right. I'm just saying.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
You're definitely swipe
I went on
right.
a hike on Saturday, and I had my beard still, and my top lip was sweating, and then I did one of these things, and I was like, oh crap. I just probably gave myself like the corona or something because I wouldn't touch my face, wiping sweat off. I was like, I came home and I looked in the mirror. I was like, I look like my dad anyways. I'm just gonna shave it off, and I did. And as soon as I was done, I regretted it, and here I am. And with that, everyone, welcome to Into the Abyss. This is my back home from vacation show with a special guest, Tim Shaw. How's it going?
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to have you back. We had fun, a lot of fun last time.
Oh, and that was an impromptu one. I just walked into the shop for something else.
I know that was a lot of fun. So I'm excited. Well, I'm excited to see what comes up here. I know everybody's kind of out of sorts because of COVID-19 and everything. So nobody's schedule is looking like what it used to. And
I'm happy. First of all, I hate people. So there you go. I'll just throw it right out there. I hate people. I love this.
Amen.
I can sit back and this, what I'm doing now, we just purchased a new house this year. So not being on that grueling schedule and not filming and not doing everything this year, for me it's been wonderful because I have put so much work into this house and I absolutely love it. I love every inch of it. But I'm not going to lie, I do kind of miss being out there and seeing my friends. I think that's the hardest thing is not being able to go and run around and when you go to different places, you have friends in different spots. So I meet. I do miss them. But I mean, we do Zoom stuff and, we end up doing crazy stuff. It just, hey, what can I tell you? Listen, I can either pay big money and drink with them, or I can just go drink at home and save money and just be as stupid on Zoom. Things don't change that much. So.
I like that on House Party. We have a blast on House Party, and there's the craziness ensues on House Party. I'm just saying, Sean was a witness. I just don't,
I'll tell you what. I've actually been spending more money on alcohol because my kids haven't been to school since March. So, I shared a post that I saw on Facebook. It says, "So are we spending money on school supplies or more money on alcohol?" I think some people took that as a joke, but I was kind of being serious because these kids, they need to get out of my house.
Well, I will say this. I have a love-hate relationship there, with people. I mean, I love most everybody, but if I have to go to Walmart, oh my God, I'm about ready to throat punch someone in like 2 seconds, like literally.
Supermarkets, same way.
I literally, I can't do it. I literally am going to start doing like the Walmart pickup because people are just me, and that whole scenario does not mix. I'm an introvert as it is. So, when I get around that crazy energy, I'm just like, no, I'm good.
I'll let you guys in on a secret. What I do.
Yes.
I go shopping. I do all the shopping in the house. Since I retired, I do it all anyway. So what I do now, it's great because I have a mask on. I have earbuds in, but they're not connected to anything. They're just put in my pocket. So I'm not listening to anything. And then when people start making eye contact with me, I pop my sunglasses down.
Nice.
And nobody talks to me. It's great. And
I
nobody
love
talks to me.
it.
You know what I used to do before COVID-19? I would only go to Walmart at like 12 o'clock, no earlier than 12 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And now it's like I don't go to the store now.
Yeah.
We have Myers. It's open a little bit later, so I'll try. So there, I don't want to. I don't want to deal.
Well,
with
it's funny with me. My wife will not go shopping with me. She sends me. She just gives me a list. She sends me out, no matter what it is. If I have to go to Walmart or whatever, and the reason is because it's a military operation with me.
Yeah.
Because of the fact it's like, you know what? I know the layout of the store. I go directly to where I have to be. I get everything I need, and I'm at the checkout. Don't talk to me. Don't do anything. I get home, and you know it's funny because I never was like that. And now I think because I traveled so much last year, with the with all your connections and missing connections and having to rent cars and running around.
Yes.
I really got into that mindset where it's like, I got to know exactly where everything is. I have to have a purpose why I'm leaving the house, and that's it, and it works out great for me. And it's fantastic because people come up and go, don't talk to me. Goodbye. Leave me alone. You don't know me. You never knew me. I'm not even here.
You're a ghost.
It
was the ghost of Tim Shaw.
Ooh, that sounds like a good book.
I know, right?
Listen, I'll be there soon enough. Okay. Let's not
rush it. I know, seriously, he could have been like an ex-spy who got killed on one of his missions, and now he's a ghost, and so he has to relive different missions or just do different. That would be a fabulous book, Tim. I'm just saying. Cash me in.
No, you know what? You know what missions I would. Here's the missions I would relive. Walmart. First in a month, Walmart locally. No.
It was crazy when it was really, really bad and on lockdown here in Florida. I literally walked into the Walmart that we had, and there was literally like the guys in the green, what do you call in the produce section, standing guard. What do you call them? The National Guard or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what a day of this, as I'm trying to get freaking grapes and tomatoes, and the National Guard is watching me. I'm like, it would freak me out. It did. I was like, so I go in, like Tim says, with a mission, get everything on the list, boom, 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 and go. I don't stay any longer. I don't dawdle. I just don't want to be there.
Exactly.
I don't blame you. I worked many years in retail and food service, and that's where a lot of mine comes from, with where I don't want to go during peak hours. The worst thing that my kids could say is, Dad, let's go to the mall. I don't want to do it. I mean, I worked for Nordstrom, I worked for K Jewelers, I worked for Macy's, and it's I don't want to relive that. And that's
they just opened up our large mall here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't wait, because I'm going to listen to the police scanner, just because I can't wait to hear. It ought to be like 25 minutes before the first fight starts, but here's the problem. People have been so pent up. They're stuck, and we're living in a society where this is the norm, to go out. I've always cooked. I've always, I'm one of those people that, like, I would get the basics I could possibly get, and then just not worry about like traveling or whatever. And a lot of people aren't used to that. And years ago, and I'll be honest with you, years and years ago, I decided I attended some classes at the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. And that just like stuttered me like for 2 solid weeks, where I was just like, the 4 days there, it takes you like 2.5, 3 weeks to get over it, because you just like back it all up. So a lot of it is the fact that I really got that mindset where you have to be a little bit more productive in your own life. You can't depend on anybody or anything really. And then when I got sick and I had the chemo and everything, I appreciated that, because of the fact that it didn't bother me not to, to be on the couch every time I had surgery. I was on the couch for 2 weeks, so it didn't bother me. And now we moved into this house the week of the big shutdown, the big, when it hit, especially here in New York State. I mean, it was bad. And the day that my furniture was delivered was the day just before. I mean, I am talking like everything was shut down. There was nothing going on. So we were really lucky. And I had made a list. I went out, I got everything I possibly could have needed for this house. And 3 weeks later, I mean, I emerged. I think that's the best way to describe it. I emerged. I did some shopping, and that was it. But it's a crazy mindset, because a lot of people aren't. Everybody wants to be pablum fed, and everybody's looking for scapegoats, and everybody's looking for an excuse, and you know what? The buck stops here with me. Listen, my health is not the best because I don't take care of myself the proper way. I don't eat all the good stuff I should be eating. So it's my fault. I mean, you have to go and you have to take that responsibility onto yourself. And it's the same thing with getting through all this. You need to take that responsibility, put it on yourself, and then go on from there. My buddy who's a Marine, usually you guys, hey, listen, you guys, I'm just going to tell you something. You guys, that you rate with me, because Wednesday nights I'm usually at the beach drumming. And I'm not going to lie.
No.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
No.
I said, no, I'm not going to go because we had this scheduled, and I like you guys. So I decided, really, I wanted to I didn't want to miss the interview. And one of my buddies there is a retired Marine, and his advice to me always has been, embrace the suck. Embrace the suck. Life sucks, so embrace it and get going and get over it. And I'll tell you what, I've gone and I've done that, and it's the greatest thing in the world. And I've never looked back. I'm 60. I just turned 63, and I got to tell you, it's what it is, man. It's what it is. And you just have, I giggle a lot. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I just giggle a lot, and everybody's complaining, and I just giggle.
You've got to make the best of it, right? You can't just life does suck, and you know what? You're gonna get past it, and then guess what? Life's gonna suck again. It's just like it's like a spinning wheel. It's
the wheel of life, baby. It's the wheel of life. And that's the way I always look at it. And I have some friends that are Algonquin, and they said the same thing. They're elders, and it's like it's a wheel of life. And if you're a carny, it's like everybody takes their turn in the barrel,
right?
That is true.
Yeah, really.
That is true. And I love that, because that Embrace the Suck is actually from one of my favorite movies. So it was like when you said that, I just kind of just chuckled and I laughed, because it reminded me of something that it was like, I hadn't watched it in a long while, but I absolutely agree with you. There's just, you can make an opportunity out of everything. I started writing again. I hadn't, because I was so busy with trying to do this and this and this, that I put everything off on the shelf. And now that the shelves are kind of all toppled down, I had to pick up things and rearrange it. So I've always wanted to start writing again. So that's what I did. And it's allowed me to process a lot of rage and anger and not sacrifice anybody lately, or, so put anybody in a jar. So I'm doing good.
Hey, listen, if I call it my medicine cabinet. If you had ever seen the candle work I've been doing, you'd understand. I can relate to that. But you have to, you have to go and overcome, and that's the important thing. And a lot of people, it drives me insane, because they have to be entertained, and whatever happened to not being entertained, whatever happened to really letting things flow over you, like art, or allowing yourself to be so creative that you're able to go and do what you do. That's why I think a lot of paranormal investigators turn around and they hit that brick wall and they bounce off, because they don't embrace what's going on around them. They only know what they've seen on TV or whatever, and they lose that whole creative vibe. And, that's what we're doing. I mean, how many times can we repeat the same thing, the same lines, use the same equipment, do this, do that? It's the same thing with spirituality. It's the same thing with metaphysics. It's all the same thing. How many times can you do that without personalizing it, without thinking outside the box? because otherwise you're not going to be successful. And that's what,
And that's true. And especially for me, because I've had a lot of suck lately. So I had this big, huge conversation with my guy.
But may I say that you may have had a lot of suck lately, but you look lovely. You look lovely tonight. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah,
Listen, wait a minute. Hold on. You even look better. Glasses on. You even look better. You look
making her
blind.
blind. Look at that.
You know what? My OCD drives me nuts because my hair is split blonde and black now. So what drives me crazy is if the part, and so I'm like looking at myself, trying to be conscious not to like OCD about my part. But but back to my spirituality, I think I've reset things because I had a conversation with my guides and the things, and I was like, with everything like Tim was talking about embracing the suck. I had a lot of suck that happened. And I'm like, what the hell, guys? Really? I mean, really, what the hell?
Exactly.
I said, if you guys do not reset and do something and help change whatever, nobody's getting any liquor. Nobody's getting nothing. I'm going to pack your ass up in a box. Because I was done at a point. I was done. And it was really funny because throughout childhood, every time there was going to be a big change in my life, there's always been a significant omen. Elvis shows up in my life. I don't know why. Either in a dream, a post, a song, something. So 3 times this week, Elvis has shown up. So I know that even though I'm still in that part of life where I'm embracing the suck and the rage and pissed off, I'm not put anybody in a jar, but I'm focused on taking whatever that I need to do to change for me, purging shit. I mean, like I've cleaned out, purged things out for like boxes and boxes and stuff was very cathartic, and I think that is true to our spiritual nature. Sometimes, and for us to have that breakthrough and to level up, and say, well, we've hit here, and I had a very significant crazy ass dream nightmare that I told Sean that involved Saint Michael and a battle and everything like that. And it when it got to the part where everything was in the 11th hour, he said, you've lost your faith. Which pissed me off, this dark energy or whatever. And I'm like, so it just humbled me, but pissed me off at the same time. And it was just like, no, I'm going to get up and fight. And that's where everything just blew apart.
But everybody gets that. Everybody gets that dark night of the soul.
Yeah, it is.
Mother Teresa worked for years with that same mentality. And I thought to myself, if somebody like her can go and overcome that, and the rest of us can do it. And I think, what helps you more than anything else is you're a chaos practitioner like I am. I mean, I am. I'll come right. My religion is spiritualist. I will always say that I always say that I'm a spiritualist. But you guys know my biography because I hang out with all sorts of people in the craft and Santorians and hoodoo practitioners, voodoo practitioners.
I love that about you.
Pentecostal Christians. I mean, I hang out with everybody. And the one thing I can say is being a chaos practitioner, you can, it's so much easier to purge spiritually because now you're not like, I always tell people it's like rip the duct tape off your ass because you know what? You've got to start thinking and think with your head, not your butt. Right. And being someone that does this, and I'm not afraid to go and just say, this ain't working no more. I got to start looking into this. I got to, I'm not going to go, we don't recognize it. Well, good for you. I recognize it. I have my deity. I do this. I do that. I might be a card carrying spiritualist, but I got an altar. I got my effigies of Santa Muerte and Papa Capello and and all the rest of them there. And it works, and that's what the proper thing is. You can't go. People get too tied down with the whole, the whole organizational shit thing. I agree. Organizations are created by man. Come on, it's a control mechanism. That's all. I agree
that this is exactly why I call myself a spiritual Catholic. I'm here I am. I'm a Catholic. But yet I do it. I have other spiritual ways. I don't think I can go to church and go to confession. I don't think that confession's the answer, but here I am. I'm Catholic.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Here's the
I feel like there's
line.
a lot more to it. You got to learn from it, right?
I went and I attended a lecture probably about 12 years ago. It was the former president of the National Spiritual Association of Churches married a former Jesuit theologian who taught at Georgetown University. It was a comparison between Catholicism and spiritualism. You want to know a secret? The only difference, there's two differences in everything. One is the deity of the divinity of Christ, of course. That's a big one, but it's just the names that everything is called.
Yeah.
And I afterwards I sat there with him and I was able to really get some in-depth time with him. And he looked at me, he says, if you want to learn about mediumship, if you truly want to learn about mediumship, learn about the life of saints. And I did. I'm not going to lie. I started researching it. And sure enough, he was 100% correct, because you know what? It's all about, it's all the same thing. Now, I was brought up, I spent the first 8 years of my life at a Polish Catholic school. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not Polish in any way, shape, or form. So that was I was taught by nuns and very strict nuns, the Felician sisters, and the big thing is that if I had been taught Catholicism the proper way, the way the Jesuits would teach you, I probably would never have gone out. And again, I've had my relatives were in the Louisville Assembly, and they're all spiritualists and that sort of thing. I probably would have stayed Roman Catholic, except I would have gone and investigated, and I would have gone more and accepted more of the miraculous, more of the metaphysical that Roman Catholicism has to offer. But at that time, I mean, it was like, it was like an assembly line thing, and it was crap. It was crap teaching. I'll come right out and say it was the shittiest teaching you could have ever had for a religious organization. And, so I went looking elsewhere. However, what was nice is it kind of came full circle, and I was able to go and learn more about Roman Catholicism and like my brand of spiritualism. There's no saints, no this, no that. Hey, you know what? We got a guy here in Lackawanna, New York, that's on the fast track of being a saint. And if you study his life, I'm hard pressed that anybody will not say this guy was not one of the greatest mediums there were. Where I mean, this guy found a gas well that powered his churches, and he had a home for unwed mothers, orphanages, training facilities. The gas well, this guy's been dead I don't know how many years. The gas well is still powering everything. Nice. What is this? He was, he could bilocate. There was so much about him. He was so miraculous. And when they moved they exhumed his body, and they took it over to it used to be a hospital. Now it's like a adult living center and that sort of thing. But they put him down and they opened the coffin, and he hadn't changed that much. He was embalmed, so that could be it. But they knew he was special, so they kept the jars that they keep the like blood and organs in.
Yes.
I can never say the proper name for it. But when they opened up one of the jars, they examined his blood, and the white corpuscles were acting as if they were still in his body.
Oh wow!
After being in the ground, after being out of his body, after being pumped out, and before they put the embalming fluid in him. So you tell me that this is not miraculous. This is not the sign of a medium. This is not the sign of something special. And and I brought it up to like one of my church when I used to serve a church. I brought it up to one of the people there, and they were like, "Oh no, we don't know. And saints, no, absolutely not."
All right.
Wait a minute, apples and oranges here, guys. You just got listen. It's almost all the same, Yeah. And at that point, that's when I decided that it was time to rip up my card and become just kind of be someone that's hanging. You know what? I'm the guy. If we were back in the 1800s, I'd have the wagon going from town to town. That would be me.
You know what though? It's funny how if you pay attention, what your spiritual path where it'll lead you to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was brought up Jewish again, but not with a good teaching.
Yes.
And so
Exactly.
I was brought up as Jewish without a good teaching. I was never even bar mitzvahed. And so then I get into my adulthood and I'm having these paranormal experiences and I'm looking for protection. I'm looking for these answers. I'm not finding exactly what I feel like I need. I find myself down this path. I find myself I got baptized Catholic in my 20s, my late 20s, almost 30. And now here I am investigating the paranormal, learning again to do tarot cards. And I honestly, I wear my Apache tear more than I wear my crucifix for protection. I mean, it's just a matter, if you pay attention though, you're led down a path. You're supposed to learn these things. But you know what? I'm glad that I learned the Catholic faith, and I'm glad to take my kids to church and all of that. But I'm glad that I was introduced to Saint Michael, Archangel Michael, Raphael, all of them. They protect me and my family, and I work with them on my investigations.
And your chicken foot.
And my chicken foot. I call it my crow foot. It's my
crow foot.
My daughter,
my
daughter comes to my house and goes, "Dad, I want a chicken foot." I go, "What the hell do you want a chicken foot for?" Well, I've been studying a little bit of voodoo, and I know that you've been hanging out with.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You want a chicken foot?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, hold on. I got one in the basement." You know. There you go. You can have it. But it's funny because what I like chaos. I like, chaos magic.
Yeah.
I like overlapping religions and philosophies. Yeah. I like to be able to look at the commonality of everything to see what is, what the differences are and what is very, very similar. And when you start doing that, I that's where I guess I lost my the whole thing where I use external elements to go in for protection. Right. I ended up evolving into a whole philosophy of everything is energetic, everything is vibration, everything is frequency. And I kind of stripped away of my, I kind of stripped away the guides, the personality of guides, the personality of saints or protectors. And it's just higher vibrations, lower vibrations. And with me, it's funny because I just, I always have a prayer, and I usually freak the people out around me because I usually say, "Yea, though I may walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil," because I'm the meanest son of a bitch in the valley, and it freaks them. But for me, I don't have that fear. I've lost that fear. Of course, I mean, I was brought, I was exposed to spiritualism and all this other stuff when I was 1972. What was I, like 9 years old, 10 years old, something like that. So, I mean, I've been working with it a long time, but I don't have that fear anymore. I understand what people need when we go and counsel them. They need cognitive reinforcement. So whatever they need, that's fine. We'll talk about it. We'll do it. We'll do rituals, whatever. But when I work, I just don't, that's not the way I work, but I love that. But that's what's so nice about chaos magic. Yeah. Because it's like, whatever works for you. So I open up my book of shadows and I look in there and go, hey, let's see. This guy is saying nasty things about me. Oh, we're gonna have a shut the F up spell on this guy. Oh, here's my intent. My intent is right here. Bang. Okay. I hope you have a stud for that hole in your tongue when we're done. Enjoy.
I know that I like to call it a paradigm pirate. Like we pirate a little bit from everything, And like for me, I love the aspect that I'll always respect and love the traditions that we come from and learn from, like, the voodoo and Santeria and just all the rishas and all that meld of, and like with me, I worked with the Mother Zage, and it's just a very powerful moment. They have just different things that they have, just reflected into my life in certain things and teachings. But I also love the aspect of just connecting to that core source where everything just is a nothingness what's something. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you're in that source, and it's like sticking a fork in a light socket, and you're connecting, and you're making your sigils, you're making your servitors, and you feel that empowerment, and you know that's altogether a different sense of magic it's that wonderment that you always knew magic was. It's not like that sympathetic magic, which is still good magic, but it's just something just at another level, especially when I know that, when you start to work with your AHA, that is in itself defined my life in that moment, when I had that connection with my holy guardian angel, that of how everything happened, even how the animal, the dog that was in the house reacted to it, just as a confirmation of that energy, was a very powerful thing. And I've always been connected to Saint Myrte. And it was funny because when you said her name, I immediately, chills went down my body, and I saw her come up behind you, and she was all in white, because I typically work with the white Saint Myrte, and she was just like, she kind of just nodded, she kind of had that little wink of it, and like, yeah, I know, I feel you, I know what you're doing, so it's just like, so thank you, Tim, for bringing that connection and that reminder, because at that moment she stepped right up and just connected. Right,
exactly. Me. Did I ever tell you about me coming across the Canadian border with my Santa Muerte effigy? Did I ever tell you that one? Well, originally Santa Muerte was the patron saint of cartels and drug, and the very downtrodden. So, now she's becoming a little bit more family, I guess, family orientated. So I'm up in St. Catharines, Ontario, which is probably about 45 minutes, an hour away from my house. And I have to cross the Peace Bridge. So I go up there. First of all, I cross the Peace Bridge, and they go, the guy goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm going to attend and speak at the Witchcraft and Voodoo Festival up in St. Catharines. The guy looks at me, and he goes, what are you going to talk about? And I said, I have some haunted objects. In the car? Yeah. I said, so, he was funny, he let me go. So I go up there, and they gave me a 4-foot Santa Muerte effigy. This thing is big. So
did you strap it in the back seat with a seatbelt?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you do that? Right. So, I'm not going to put it in my, I got an SUV, and it's dirty and stuff in there. So I'm not going to leave the stuff in there. So I put her in the seatbelt, and I'm driving, and I'm in the lane getting ready to go through, inspections.
Can I ask one question? Did she call shotgun?
Oh, she called shotgun. I almost had her in the front seat with me.
I love it. Oh my God.
So I'm coming through, and the guy is like deadpan. What are you doing? Well, it's just up, blah, blah, blah. It's, the Witchcraft and Voodoo Festival. Bringing anything back? I go like this to him. I got the door prize in the back seat. Looks in. Looks in again. Looks at me. Have a nice day. Never looked at my ID. Never looked at my license. Have a nice day.
I love it.
And that's happened actually quite a few times, because a lot of times there at one of the haunted locations here, the Virgin House. Yeah. There was a little Harlequin doll, and people just got like EVPs at like swearing and really nastiness. So it started freaking out the granddaughter of the woman who owns the house, and they asked me if I wanted it. Well, I'm down here. This is all the legitimate stuff. I have all the crazy stuff on the other side of the computer screen. And I said, yeah, I'll take that. So, wherever I go, she comes with me, and a lot of times she'll be sitting out, I'll be going to speak, I'll cross the border, and I'll have her sitting out of my backpack, and again, I'll just point to her, and the guy's just like, usually like, whatever. And so the question came up, well, why, have you had a problem with her? And I said, no. I said, to her, she likes the name Sadie. I said, Sadie, I don't have a problem with Sadie. Sadie and I get along great. And they're like, well, we can't understand that because she was always so like belligerent. I said, listen, I said, Sadie has gone to more places, more states than I take my wife. I said, so Sadie is always with me. She goes, she gets a lot of attention. People are like, oh my gosh, we tell the story about Sadie. Yeah. And no, I have no problem with her, you know. So you never know. But she's funny. But I love when the customs usually goes, in this car, you have haunted objects? Yeah. I said, see that big Foot Locker in the back? It's full. I said, I got about 12 Ouija boards. I got, have a nice day. That's it. Have a nice day, go.
You just totally give me an amazing idea. I want to see if I can find one St. Marty's that goes on the dashboard, you know, like the little hula girl, but a St. Marty's.
I want a Buddy Christ that does that. Come on, you guys see the movie, right? I've been wanting a Buddy Christ ever since I saw that freaking movie. I'm sorry.
Yep.
You just reminded me.
I love that movie. But then Tim just put this in my brain. I want a bumper sticker that goes on the back of my windshield, because you know I got that my big huge minivan kind of thing, and put what is it? This vehicle can contain haunted objects. That would be the most protective freaking thing on that vehicle, because you know ain't nobody gonna try to rob your vehicle if you know they got haunted stuff in there, because most people are superstitious.
I'll tell you what, I have the supernatural star of protection on the back window of my SUV. I get looks for having that nonsense on my car. I can only imagine.
Well, I want to get one of those. I've just been in the process of cleaning and getting my van ready, and I'm going to get ready to do all that. But I got to see if I can find that. That's awesome, Tim. I love that. You just my brain.
Tim, real quick.
Sure.
Real quick. You said that you have some haunted objects in the room with you. Can you share one with us?
I'd have to get up and get it. Do you want me to do that?
Oh, I will not be upset.
We would love you a long time.
A very long
time. No, hold on.
Awesome. Yes. Impromptu ideas.
I know, right?
Before the show, but I just like.
I will tell you, you're so much. I like the Sean Gilmore without the beard.
You like Sean? I don't know. I feel like
you're so shiny.
Maybe if I was like skinnier.
No, you're so shiny. It's just so happiness.
I'm so wide and round.
No, you're not. You're just fluffy. But it is. It's just like you have.
I'm a fleshy teddy bear.
You just have this glow about you now. Are you moisturizing? All I'm saying, just moisturize.
Are you moisturizing? I've been off of week. Well, I took a week vacation.
Yes.
I lived the salt life for a week, and then I worked for a week, and then I took a birthday vacation with my family. When I say birthday vacation, like literally everybody's birthday's in July but mine. Mm-hmm. So I swap like each year. I'll take my vacation in the beginning of July, and then the next year I'll take it in the end of July, because like my son's birthday is the beginning, my youngest daughter is in the middle of July, and my oldest daughter is at the end of July, and then my wife is the day before my son's birthday. So it's like July is just like birthday time. So
I will say, whatever the salt water did, Yummy worked.
I need to move to
I can feel that she just took whatever was necessary.
I was out there in the ocean. I was at the Myrtle Beach State Park, and I was talking to the ocean. We were talking to each other. Yeah. I know I'm weird.
That's Yummy and Olukun, and Yummy. She is in the top of the ocean, and Olukun. He or she, it depends on how he represents to you, is the bottom in the depths of the ocean. So I really feel that they did a lot of healing with you, especially to be honest. So it's good to see it on you.
Awesome. Thank you. What have you got for us?
Well, I brought you Sadie. Sadie is my favorite.
Nice.
Here's Sadie from the Virgin House.
Oh.
And this the doll, they have some video of the arm actually moving by itself, and it was always real negative, always very, very negative, oppressive in the room when she was in it. And she's got a little chair that they gave me, and she sits in the chair, and they used to have her up there, and the EVPs were always really terrible. And it was funny because when they gave me her, one of the guys came up to me and said, listen, I just got a call from a psychic in, I think it was Oklahoma, who was familiar with Sadie, and said the doll's afraid. And I understand it because they want to, I believe that everything has consciousness, everything is vibratory in nature. So everything has some kind of life. So of course it's going to be afraid. And, it's when I got her, I put her in the front seat with me and seat belted her in, and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and I'm going down these farm roads, and there's swamps on both sides. And I looked at the doll, and I swear the head moved. It's my imagination, but I swear the head moved. I looked at it and said, listen, you make a sound, you move, you're going right out that window. I'm just telling you right now. And but I never had a problem with her. There's some that I have to go and I have to cleanse. Her, I never had to. She's again, I think it's respect for the pieces. Yeah, I really do, because I respect the pieces. I love the pieces. The most I've ever gotten, and I've got I got 3 cabinets right now full of haunted objects, and I have 1, 2. I think I'm looking over there. I got 4. I got 4 foot lockers full of Ouija boards, and the most I've ever had happen here is some knocking. But let me show you one of the more fun pieces.
Well, before you go on the next one, have you done any spiritual work with her? I feel a lot of sadness coming off of her.
Oh yeah. I think there's a lot of sadness. I think there was whatever that was and I won't say attached. I believe it's part of the consciousness of the piece. Yeah. I believe it was I think it was loved in the beginning, and then it was tossed away. And I think that had a profound influence on why it was negative. So with me, right now she hasn't really been out of the new basement here, because I had everything locked up in trunks for years. But because of that, I think that she's a little itchy. I think she wants to go on a little adventure with me.
I do. I feel that. And what she says to me, if it's okay if I say that, sure. She was connected to a young boy around 7 or 8, and there was a family, and there was a death and a passing. So it was just like, she says, everything got rearranged. And
it would make sense. It would make sense.
And she says, I got lost in the mix. That's what she said.
That's it. What's interesting about what you just said was when I asked the woman who gave me the doll, I asked where it came from. She goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
She goes, it appeared here one day. So somebody actually must have picked this up, could have bought it at Goodwill or whatever.
Yeah.
And just taken it as a trigger object, not caring about it, and just left it there.
I've done that. I'm not gonna lie.
She says,
or there's times when I'll use it as a trigger object, and I'll ask for some sort of communication with the doll. I'll say, you know what, you can keep this doll, or you can keep this toy. All I need is for you to say hi. And if it does that, or if I get a knock, I'm like, okay, I'll keep mine to the deal.
Yeah. But that's place-sating too. That's place-sating spirit. I've had children, the spirits of children who have been stuck at locations, and in order to get the family to be able to move out calmly, because there was a lot of poltergeist activity, I would bring in a toy and offer it to that entity, to that energy, and say, this is yours. And I would tell the people, don't touch it. I'm going to put it in the closet. It's theirs. And that usually placates it. But yeah, so I think she was just left, and she, and you got to understand too, expectations with paranormal investigators play huge amounts into the evidence that they get. You walk in there and you say, this thing is bad. I heard it's bad. What do you expect to get in evidence? You're going to get some like attracts like. So, with me, I always try to make sure that I play neutral,
And that's the same with me. When I go into something, I don't want to know nothing about nothing, because I want my own you know, and I can't even know what I'm talking about right now, but I know Jim knows what I'm saying.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want just that to meet everything with its own energy and to understand it at a level, because without other people's perceptions, because that can alter you. If you're told you're bad and this, you're going to go in with that understanding, and that's how you're going to look at it.
Well, I've always gone into investigations with an open mind. You can go.
Yeah.
There are certain places that have the of having negative entities there, and I don't go in there expecting that. That's because number one, that's not the type of interaction I want, and number two, if I get it, I get it, and I'll deal with it. But I'm not going to expect it, because, like you said, you get you're going to get what you expect. That's what I believe. You put the energy out there, you're going to get it.
You go to a I'll just put in air quotes a haunted location.
Yeah.
You're putting intent out already because you're going there. If you did your work, you did your homework, you already know what to expect. You're putting it out there.
Yep.
The location is going to try hard to go and give you what you want. Yeah. And that's what a lot of times happens. And so you have to be careful. Hey, before I bring out the other artifact, I got to say hello to Cody from Taps. I love Cody. He's been on the show with I love him. He's a great Cody. Guy. I met him through a good friend of ours, Dustin Perry. My buddy. Oh my God. I am like super shocked that Jeff Parnam is on tonight. Rebecca is here. So thank you guys for stopping in and being on. That's all. You guys are cool. But here's the other one. This is.
Ooh, I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, this is African nail effigy. And I'll tell you what, I have three of them. Two that are stripped down like this, and no, this one actually has a couple of the Boda bags still on it, and these are absolutely beautiful, and they're really great. They have the little opening here in the stomach where it's drilled out, and they put herbs in there, and they sealed it up with mica or glass, and every time that you need the spirit to go and do your bidding, you drive a nail into it.
Ooh, and can I get that on Amazon?
I just got the like when you brought it up, I got like I'm sorry, I'm kind of like it's always a learning for me. I got like just I will give I'll take what you give, and you'll get what you give. That's kind of what I got. I don't know. Sorry.
Well, I will tell you, I love it. When you brought it up, I said that's got some juice. I knew immediately what it was, and I was like, that's my next level, because I want to find something, because I'm moving on from the jars, because I can't. I don't have enough space for all these jars. You feel me? I need me something I can whack and stick a nail into. I like him a lot.
These are the potato.
These are beautiful. I have I have three of these, and
you have three of those.
I have three of these in the collection, and I have a few West African pieces here. But this one is unusual, but people don't understand the whole concept of the belief of energy and the spirit inhabiting a piece. And that's what I love about these. These are things that are representations of a deity. And it's almost like you go and you have a Saint Michael statue. It's a representation. It is a focal point for your cognitive intent. And you go and you put something like this in there, and if you have a ritual or whatever, you put in your intent in this, and you're feeding this properly, and you're respecting this properly, you're going to get a result with it. And that's what I love about this piece. This is one of those pieces that I shouldn't say it's unusual. It's not unusual. You can get these. They get to be a little expensive, a little pricey. I did not, being the naturally cheap person that I am, I did not pay what they want on retail and stuff, but these all came from actually museum collections.
So
why is that making my chest hurt?
Because it's a lot of energy.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy.
Unless you've dealt with that type of energy, it is very intense and very powerful.
Yeah.
Tim, does the name Iesco mean anything to you?
Yeah, that's the name of a dealer that deals in shrunken heads that I know.
Okay, because you know,
I just want to let you know that was pretty good.
But that's what he's talking to me about.
Wow,
I need you.
That's not even like a random thing. Like that's like too random to be random.
Yeah, that's actually that's part of it.
Wow,
it's real close. And the name is very, very close. And I don't want to announce the name on the air.
No. That's good.
He's actually a broker. He's actually a broker that comes from Central America.
Okay.
And he for unique, I will just say unique pieces like shrunken heads and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's that's a name that a lot of the dealers I know use. I don't have any. I don't have any shrunken heads here, but my friend actually does.
I'm going to say this real quick. Hold on, let me say this real quick. You have an awesome freaking co-host and an awesome freaking guest. When your co-host is like, "I'm getting a name. Who is it? Oh, that's the person that shrink heads." What? That's my.
Well,
that's my dealer. That's my dealer for shrunken heads. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
That's exactly the message is that you need to get back
in touch.
Well, what I'm saying is the message is that you need to get back in touch with him. There's something that you are supposed to have in the next 3 to 6 months. So all I'm saying, I'm just dropping you the message.
The big thing is I have an order out for something, and I don't want to say it. I do have an order out, but getting through U.S. Customs might be a little difficult. It's not illegal. Don't get me wrong. It's not illegal. I don't deal with anything like that. But it's these are a lot of times they're museum pieces. I'll just tell you what it is. I have some small dolls. That and some mummy wrap that from Peruvian mummy wrap, and I have some small dolls that were made from Peruvian mummy wrap. And I'm looking for a larger piece. I'm looking for a larger piece. And that's what I have out. And he's looking for me because I have the small pieces. I have the small Peruvian mummies or the small Peruvian dolls. And then I have, and museums are great because museums every so often will auction off extra stuff that they have, So I picked up I picked up mummy wrap through them. But I've been trying to get something that's a little bit bigger. And it'll give a lot of oomph to the collection, Even though I don't bring anybody down in the basement to see it, but it'll give it a little bit more oomph.
How did you get into this collection? So you're dealing with. I'm sorry, Zarina.
You're fine.
Real quick, you're dealing with museum curators and sales, and you're dealing with. Head shrinkers from South America, and I'm sure that
brokers. I don't know.
I'm sorry, brokers in South America, and who knows what in Africa? I mean, I don't know, in Asia. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. How did you get into that?
You know what? I got into it because for years I did negative work until I got sick, and by negative work it was like. Dealing with negative stuff going on in homes and personalities, and that's not exorcisms. I've worked with exorcists, but not, that's not my thing. And over the years, what happened was, and for years I thought it was a lot of BS. I thought it was just a lot of projection, psychological projection out, where somebody said, well, I got this piece and it's evil. And it's like, what? What? And it's funny because I really didn't get into this until I met Johnny Zaffis, and Johnny and I got really close, and we've actually worked. Actually, if I have a problem and I have something, I would call Johnny, and Johnny would kind of walk me through it because sometimes the obvious is not obvious,
Right.
and he's got a huge collection. So I saw parts of his collection, and then I met Lorraine Warren, and
that's my heroine.
Oh my God! I actually have one of her kerchiefs in my collection. I have a kerchief. I have a one of her business cards, and I have a small Saint Benedict medal that she used to give the clients. Yeah, so that was nice. So I mean that's what I have. Like I have memorabilia.
That's awesome.
I knew Ray Buckland. So I have stuff from him, and but. I saw Annabelle, and and growing up, I saw in the National Enquirer because that was the big thing back then. They always had the ghost stories. They had haunted stuff in there, and what happened was people were just like, I want to get rid of this stuff. I want to get rid of it, and I started just collecting it, and it just was just like one thing at a time, and I won't say it became an obsession, but I don't go out of my way to look for anything. Yeah. A lot of this stuff, I got a beautiful, I got a beautiful doll from Virginia. My friend Jessica gave me. She removed it from a house, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And she's like, I don't have any place for it. And I put it in with Sadie, and there's no cat fighting, no hair pulling, and it works out well. But again, I mean, I'm kind of careful. But I got into it. I got to say that probably in another life, I was probably like a Carney Barker. I was probably a sideshow guy because I love sideshows. I absolutely love sideshows. I love the gaffs. I love all that stuff. And I think what happened was I just went in this life, it kind of just continued on. And I run with a couple guys that are just collectors. I'll just say collectors. And my buddy's got a shrunken head, and he's got the full skulls, with if it's got the bottom mandible, it'll speak to you. Otherwise it'll just watch out for you, protect you. That's a big thing. So I mean he's got stuff like that, and I started running around, and voodoo dolls, and people giving me voodoo dolls, and people going, people going, can you sanctify this? Can you cleanse this? It just ended up in my collection. So when we bought this house, I bought two big display cabinets, and I just got another bookcase. And I'll be honest with you, I still got probably about 4 or 5 more totes in just sitting in my workroom full of stuff.
I have to definitely say this. I think I found my new dream job, that I go around and I'll be one of your collectors, Tim, and just send me here and there to go pick up these haunted objects, and I'll be like the haunted collectors here. I'm like, I could be totally down with that. And then other thing that I was going to tell you is, oh gosh, it just left my mind. I was so excited. I had 2 things, and the blonde side of me was just like, it went. Sorry.
I know the feeling.
You ever watch American Pickers?
Yeah.
She could be your Danielle.
Really?
The Danielle's the girl that the guys call. She finds the stuff, and then the guys go drive and check out the location.
No, I want to go get the stuff. I don't want to be. No.
But she stays in the building with all the stuff, and she sells it.
Well,
you be the Danielle.
I know
Danielle. I mean, she's a looker. I mean, you got to have someone attractive, in the shop.
Well, I'm a diva, so you know what I'm saying. But I know what I was going to say. Tim is the new Warehouse 13. You know what I mean?
Nice.
No, I don't have that much. I don't have quite that much. Well, it's funny because there's a group of people I know that collect, and we go, and if we find something, and if it doesn't fit in our collection, we pass it on, or we share it. I got now on eBay, of all places on eBay, and I tell people don't buy on eBay, but Boleskine Manor in Loch Ness was Jimmy Page's old house, of course. Yes. But before that, it was Aleister Crowley's, and it burned last year.
Yes.
So they were trying to go, and they're raising money to preserve what's left of it, and they're selling roofing tiles and stuff. I had to order. I had to get it because this is a piece of magical history.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So when I got it, the heat was so intense it damaged the tiles and they shredded up. So what do? Whatever, like all the little shards and stuff, I glued them and I put them in a frame. I gave them to my friend who's a collector, and that's what we do. That's how we share stuff. And
awesome.
It's great to be able to do that. But I mean, for the most part, I'll be honest with you. Now I know some guys that claim to be collectors, and I caught them. We were filming at a place called the Chapel, and it's like an arts and crafts like co-op, and we were just messing around, and there was a wooden, just a I call them tourist statues, African wooden statue. It's a drummer. And one of the girls says, do you want to go home with Tim and put the K2 up to it? And it spiked. And she did it 3 times, and then it wouldn't do it again. So I put it off to the side. So I went back the next day, since I was still in town, to buy it. I walk in, and there's a guy in there, and he's buying all this stuff, all this creepy stuff and dolls and all that. And it's like, okay, I mean, I understand that you feel that these things are haunted, but I don't know. I mean, I don't, what I'm doing is not building a collection. That's not what I'm doing at all. It's like I'm rescuing this stuff. I'm rescuing it from getting thrown out. I'm rescuing it from getting destroyed. It's like how many Ouija boards get burned and broken every year. And I mean, I get people that are like, I'll tell you a funny story. I was speaking in Gettysburg, and they put me up at the Tilly Pierce house, which is a 1790s house. It was, it survived the war. There was it was a hospital, and it's supposedly haunted. I mean, I didn't have any problems there, but I take that back. My room door opened up by itself in the middle of the night. And I had it locked. So I mean, that's about the only thing that happened. So to me, that's nothing. And that's just another day at the office for me now. But I'm down there having breakfast, and the lady who runs it, she goes, "You're the guy that collects all that crazy stuff." I said, "Well, yeah, I kind of do, and that's what because I had talked about it. We had a class and a presentation at the end." And she goes, "You know what?" She goes, "I found a Ouija board underneath one of the beds. Do you want it?" "Yes, I'll take it." And that's how I get Ouija boards. People take them. I was at an event, and it was at a haunted location here in New York State. Woman who is a medium, and I've run into her, been on the circuit. I've seen her quite a few times. She goes, look what was left in front of on my doorstep. I said, "On your doorstep?" It was a Ouija board from 1960s. It was a fold. It's the old, with the ghost on the ghostly figure on the front. It's got Fold Corporation, Baltimore. And I said, "It was left." She goes, "Apparently something happened because the plancher has salt on it." So she shows it to me. I look at her. I said, "I'll give you $20 for it." She gave it to me. She sold it to me. And it's in my collection because, again, now this is something, it never had a problem with it. I've never used it, though. I won't use it, and I won't cleanse it. I won't touch it because it's got salt on the plancher. I put the plancher in a baggie so that it's, so it doesn't break down. Everything is there. I won't cleanse it because of the fact that I don't want to ruin the integrity of it, because I don't really know what happened to it. Now, people that tell me, "Oh, I'm getting F-bombs and all this other stuff," well, then they give them to me. Usually I just cleanse it because the people that use it are the ones that attract this stuff, So I'll cleanse those. But I have about 17 antique ones from the earliest one is from a 1919. And, I don't have any room to display them yet. I will, though. I have to move some exercise equipment around so that I can go and I can display it.
It was pretty funny because the spirit showed me a vision of what you're doing. You know how there's on a boat is that life preserver, but on it was written spirit preserver. And it was in red and white. So I don't know what they just wanted me to tell you that. So
but again, it's funny because people send me pieces of jewelry. I've got jewelry from all over the place, and I've got probably more jewelry than anything else. And my whole the bottom line of what I do is I'm just neutralizing it, preserving it. And I've already, like, my wife and I just updated our will, and I already have somebody that I'm going to give this to if something happens to me, of course. Yeah. And this way that I don't care if the collection is intact, but I know that this person will go, and if he's going to farm it out, he'll farm it out to the right people. And, you know, he'll put it in storage until the right person will come along and take it. So that's I think that's what's so important. And that's something else that, again, I don't have a problem with anything because, and, you know, I don't have like, once in a while with the Ouija boards, I get a knock from the inside of one of the cases or something. That's no big deal. But, you know, for the most part, I don't have nothing really bothers it. But I think my vibration kind of meshes with everything because of the fact I'm no nonsense with it. Yeah. But I love it. And I love the stuff and I respect it. And I believe that the items themselves, they can, I mean, that in itself will neutralize it. There's a couple pieces I do have like, I've gone up to that, you know, the guy that is on the fast track to being a saint. I've taken some of his holy water and dipped some of his metals and I've tied it around their necks when they get a little, you know, the ones that are a little bit, you know, like a friend of mine who's an exorcist, he actually took this out of a house and he gave it to me for keeping. And so it's a little, when I grabbed it, I kind of felt a little something negative with it. So you just go and you do what you do with it, and you know, it neutralizes it and everything. Eventually gets used to you. You know, I really think that's what it is.
I will definitely say this: when you start having very spiritual items that come into your path, it is a different. It just is about respect. And my favorite piece that I have that is in my collection, I saw this wooden box at a thrift store, and I walked by it a zillion times, and I was about to leave, and they said, "Go back and get that box." And I went back and got the box, put the box in my car, going down the road, and I hear this voice. I said, "Thank you." And he's like, so he's proceeded to tell me everything. I picked up a gem. Oh, I had never, ever, ever encountered gen energy. And it was so profound and so humbling. And he is such a amazing part of my spiritual life.
They can get nasty. They can get nasty.
Oh, trust me.
They get nasty.
He took care of some nasty business for me. And he don't play, but he's pretty cheeky and he's pretty funny, because I thought, like, when I first got him, I wanted to make sure he felt comfortable in his environment, you know, his little box. I put him some, you know, frankincense and copal, things that he would like, you know, because he's very simplistic and a lot. And I tried to find him some, like, you know, Arabic music that I think he would like. And he kind of just laughed. And he's like, "Dude, I just like the Eagles." And I was like, it was just that moment. I was like,
it's good.
We're good. And so I love, he is very just matter of fact. And I love that about him. So, you know, that is my favorite piece that I think is my gen.
But
thanks for letting me share.
But you know, it's funny because, I mean, if you look around me, I mean, these are, these photos are, Union veterans of the American Civil War, and where I am right now in my office is I'm surrounded by it. I'm a big collector. I love that. So a friend of mine really is, he loves it, but he's a freak. He gets freaked out by some of this stuff because he goes, well, you know, he goes, I don't understand. You get this stuff, and I mean, these guys survived with something terrible, and really, you know, I mean, it maimed them. And do you ever have a problem with it? And again, it's like, no, I don't. Of course, I mean, I'm a direct descendant of Civil War veterans. And so again, I don't have a problem with anything. And I think that it's a respect thing. Again, I respect this stuff. I really do. It's all displayed. It's you know, nothing is, you know, sideshow. Same thing with, you know, when I take these items. I mean, I'm pretty bombastic. If you guys have ever seen me work or talk, I throw candy and and Mardi Gras beads and stuff. That's just my church services.
Yeah.
You know, when I get even a little bit crazier when I'm speaking. But regardless of my actions, when I start talking about these things, I definitely just like change gears, and it's total respect for the items. And you have to be. And it's the same. And it's not all crazy stuff like this. I have a crucifix that was used in Italy, small crucifix in 11 unsanctioned exorcisms.
Wow.
I have a crucifix that belonged to a nun who was considered a living saint. So these are things that I have, you know, mass kits that they call them exorcist kits, but they're just mass kits. I have small ones, big ones. And I mean, these are things that I have respect for. And when I display them with respect. And I think that's why I don't have a problem with anything, you know? And I think they protect me too. I think that all this protects me. You know, it's funny. A friend of mine who is a voodoo practitioner says to me, he goes, "I got something for you." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Come on in the back room. Come in the back room." And he had these broken tombstones. And I said, "Where did you get these from?" He says, "Oh, they were thrown out." I said, "Oh, then what happened is, you know, they got run over by a forklift, or not a forklift, but a dump truck or whatever, and they replaced them." He goes, "Yeah, but they're special." He goes, "Because if you respect them, and they're all military, the military man will protect your house. The spirit, the essence will protect your house."
Yes.
So I have, me being me, and of course I didn't tell my new neighbors what I was doing because they were looking, but they don't know. I placed these broken tombstones on the four corners of my house.
Yes.
And that works as warding. You know, if you work within the craft, that works as warding. Yeah. And it's phenomenal. And it's the same thing that, you know, it's funny because, again, you have to have that respect. And again, so you believe, so it is, so you believe, you know, that sort of stuff. But when you have the respect for it, that's when that works. I have never had it fail me. I never had it fail me. So, you know, I can't complain.
You know what? You've brought up two big points so far that really stick with me. That's respect and intention. Yeah. Both are huge in what we do with the paranormal. So that's
well, I will say, you know what? I people who have worked with me, sometimes they mistake being very, very direct and hardcore with provoking. Now, when I was a teenager, I first started going to, you know, I was called in. I was one of these, I was lucky because I was the youngest person that got a chance, you know, in this little group to go out and do rescue circles. Yeah. And that's where you call, you know, you have to call in the spirits and you know, you're trying to convince this entity or whatever energy within this home to go onwards, to leave them in peace. And, you know, it used to get a little dicey. I mean, were these guys, these old mediums, and I'm talking back in, you know, guys, they were probably my age, and I was a teenager. So, and they'd be like, you know, "Don't give me this, you go, you know," and really start really provoking it. "What's wrong with you? Are you afraid? You're a coward." And I find myself, the older I get, I do that. But if I'm doing it something where we're just investigating a house or whatever, I won't do anything like that. But if we have something that is negative, troublesome, or we're there to help people, I don't think twice about doing it because I only have a finite amount of time. You know, we have to do something within this time. We have to get an answer, whatever. So I'm not afraid to raise my voice up. Because, you know, I believe in your voice vibrations. I don't do the Svengali thing where it's like, "Oh, spirit," you know, I don't do that. I believe in the, you know, voice vibration, sending it out, sending it strong. And people sometimes are like, "Ooh, you know, this guy's provoking." That's not what I'm doing. You know, I make it
commanding. That's a difference in taking your authority. And that's the same as me.
And you have to, because let's face it, 101. What is 101 spiritualism, mediumship? You are in control of all spiritual situations, and you work within the boundaries of those spiritual situations in order to achieve an effect.
Yep.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
So I am in control of what I'm doing. I am in control of everything that goes on. I am in control of, and I will shut stuff down. We were at the Hinsdale house, and I had a board out, and the thing was the thing. I asked it, well, who is it? And it's F-bombing me and stuff, and it's like, you know, big deal. If I had a quarter for every time I got F-bombed by a spirit,
Exactly.
you know, we'd all be in Vegas right now.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, the thing is F-bombing me and being obstinate, and it's probably a parasitical spirit, you know, they're trying to scare me or scare the people that I was with, which it was, and you know, it's absorbing that negative energy, that crazy energy. So I said, "What's your name?" And it's like kind of zipping around. I said, "Tell me your name now." And it went XOXO. I said, "You're not Love and Kiss. Just don't give me this shit. I know already." And it spelled out Zozo. Well, you know, you could have heard everybody's butt cheeks just like clench at when it spelled out Zozo. I said, "You're not Zozo." I said, "Because if you were Zozo, you come on, do something to me. Do it, you know." And nothing happened, of course, because it's not Zozo. And you have to understand what's going on. But people, you know, if a lot of people go half cocked out in this stuff, and they automatically assume. And if you assume what it is, it becomes reality. And you can't allow it to become reality, because you are actually the conduit of whatever communication is coming through. So what you're doing is, if it starts going and getting crazy, we nip it right in the bud.
Exactly.
I give it one warning. Listen, you know, get back on track, or we shut right down.
Yeah.
And most of the time it'll get back on track. Sometimes it won't. And by the way, if anybody's looking at my funky gloves, I have carpal tunnel in both hands, and I've been using hammers for the last couple days now.
The copper ones
these
are
the
amazing.
copper ones. Yeah, these are I have the copper ones.
I swear to Jesus by those, because I have the same issue too. And the copper ones are amazing, but they also look cool. So, but no, what I was going to say, just to back up, Tim, as well, is that when you're in that situation and you are commanding and you are in that authority, like I've had, you know, as a medium, but I'm also a conduit and I also channel. So I've had everything from being a vessel to angels to the little in between. And then I had a demonic force jump ship into me one time and hijack me. And it was not a nice feeling to feel that. You could literally smell the rot of this thing. And he said his message, and I had to force him out and kick his ass out. But it's just from going from that one end of the spectrum to the other, and knowing who you are and moving in your power and your gift. You have to absolutely not. You have to know what you're doing. Can't go pick up a book at Barnes and Noble and tie your
oh my God, yes,
and join this little group, light worker group. No, that you gotta be called to this shit, because I'm gonna tell you, if you don't know what you're doing, they will eat you and they will spank your ass. And
well, that goes with paranormal investigating too.
Yeah,
that's, you gotta know it, but yeah.
But I love
open up a can of whoop ass.
They will. It
though. Is. I may not look like I can whoop ass, but let me tell you, when I whoop, I whoop. And let me tell you, and Sean knows what you know. So, but what I was going to say is also what I want to reiterate, and just, you know, with him, you know, being protected, it is, you have to have that respect. You have to see these things. You have to honor and respect, especially your ancestors, because people come into wanting to work magic. They come into it with this aspect. It's not a tender date. You don't go in, get what you get, and leave. It ain't like that. I'm telling you.
I've never heard it compared to a Tinder date.
Dude, Zarina has the best analogies.
I'm stealing that one. I'm stealing that one. That is, I've never heard that before. That is great.
She has the best analogies. I'm telling you. Like, if you don't watch the show for any other reason, freaking listen just for her analogies. They're freaking fantastic.
It is, especially if you work with the saints, the rishas, you know, things are like that. You know, they require certain things. They require, whoever you work with. I'm a Ogun girl and a shoe. I love my Shu. He is just amazing. And just when you have those spiritual experiences that are just so right on, you know that you cannot, you cannot deny that when you do have that relationship and that development, and you allow them to move through you and shape and change you, in certain aspects, it's just very, very, very profound. And then teaming up like with what you said, when Tim talks about, chaos magic. When I started getting into chaos magic, I was working at a lawyer's office. I was in a miserable job. One thing we could do is listen to Spotify while we were taking our data entry crap or whatever. And I found Faith Blind Counsel, and it was a podcast, and I'm friends with Yara and Troy. And Troy's the one I was telling you I was trying to get on here. And they're chaos magicians. And it was just like, it just opened my world to a whole other level of things, and it changed the magic game for me. And I'm still changing the game, and I still want to keep changing and leveling up, so.
Oh, and Teresa now had a question about who Zozo is, and Zozo is just basically a demon. It's there's 1,001 demons out there, and Zozo is the trickster. Zozo is one of those ones that will turn around and say, I always call him Zozo's the Eddie Haskell of demons, because they'll be like real nice to you and then sucker you in. They always have like, well, I have some unfinished business, and that's something. If you go back into the 40s and 30s, you start researching it, you start seeing not the name Zozo, but you're seeing that type of spirit. And now Zozo is a worldwide phenomena, which is kind of crazy because people I know that didn't know about Zozo and worked the Ouija board actually got Zozo through it. And so I don't know exactly how and why or when and what the purpose is of this alleged demon. I mean, I just think it's a really nasty lower energies, but it's a trickster, and that's why you have to be careful with what you're doing. And you got to question everything. A lot of people don't question mediums. They don't question everything that they say is gospel, and that's bullshit. You can't do that. You gotta make sure that you have common sense and you have that free will, and you want you do what you want to do. And that's something that's important. So because if anybody has ever read Malachi Martin's Hostage to the Devil, in order to get possessed, you have to give your okay to it. And it's the same. That's the big thing with Zozo. It wants you to do stuff. And I mean, you have to really watch it because it'll tell you to go and kill somebody or stab somebody or whatever. There were kids in Texas that they stabbed one of their friends. Almost killed them because the Ouija board, and that's called the Ouija board defense. The Ouija board told me to do it. And I always tell people, listen, if something comes through, it's your Uncle Joe and says, take all your money out of your bank and put it in this stock. And then you sit there and you think to yourself, Uncle Joe never had a pot to piss in. He lived over a liquor store, never. He rented a room over a liquor store, never had an apartment, never had a job. Don't listen to him, just say no, and this is something that a lot of people see. A lot of people automatically they go and they surrender their free will to whatever is said, whatever is brought through in readings or EVPs or working with divination. They automatically surrender their free will, and you can't do that because you have to be able to go. In order to do this work, you have to go and have a balance. And all we can do is give you what we get. And if you're working with the board, you're going to see what you get.
That's true.
If something comes through and it's not to what you're liking, close the session. This is all stuff that has to be done. You have to shut down.
No, real quick with Zozo, because Zozo, that's a name that's come up rather recently. Is it possible that Zozo is something that was maybe learned on the other side?
Could be.
And so they use it as a way, like, oh, this is a scary name that they like Satan. Like, how many times you get this is the devil?
You could.
Like it could just be fucking with us, right? I mean, just like,
if you have a parasitical spirit, it can mess with you. It's going to mess with you in order. It's going to do something to get a result, so it can feed off that energy. Zozo, Mama, whatever, all sorts of stuff like that. So it can be just something that's going to try to scare you. Or if you're walking through the Detroit airport like I do, you see a funky shop, and the name of the shop is Zozo. So you don't know. I mean, we don't know what it is. It could be. It could be like a universal consciousness that is tapping into some kind of something negative, and it's going to go and it's going to try to scare you. And 9 out of 10 times, it's a parasitical spirit that's doing that. You know, all your or most of your poltergeist, your human targeted poltergeist, it feeds into it, it adds into it, addictive spirits, all of, anything that's negative, it looks for like attracts like, and it's going to try to go scare you, and it's going to try to live off of that. They don't have orifices to go and eat, so they're going to absorb that, that thrill, that energy.
I don't know. There's people that I think are energy vampires too.
Oh yeah.
But I have to definitely say this on the tip of chaos magic. Tim knows that you can intent that to create that energy form for positive, because we live in a symbol-based society. So for example, when McDonald's created their M, that energy went into that symbolism of creating wealth. So there's never not going to be a moment where anybody in this world is not going to think of cheeseburgers or that M, and it propitiates that need for money and wealth. But that's the same as well as like when you see that negativity. If the light is doing one thing, what is it not going to say that the dark is going to have that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the same MO, exact same thing. It's the same methodology, and you have, and that's what people don't understand. People all of a sudden, they think everything is clear cut, and there's no gray area. And there's a pretty big gray area when you're starting to work with the energies. And you got to watch that, and you got to know and that's what kills me. What really kills me about a lot of the people that worked in the craft. I remember the late Ray Buckland, calling them fuzzy bunnies, because in order to go and understand the light, you have to actually kind of walk in the darkness, and you have to understand that. And you have to kind of live it a little bit. So you kind of bring that in there, so you're in balance. And people don't want to do that. And those are the people that get into a lot of trouble. I've had people call me up and say, well, we did this ritual with angels and this and that, and I'm having activity in my house. I said, how do you know that you brought in angels?
Exactly.
You've got to be able to go, and you got to be able to discern. And when you mess with this stuff, if there are certain things that you can work with, and then there are certain things that you shouldn't touch without a mentor. Right. And I'm a firm believer in mentorship, and I'm a firm believer in finding just that right person. I've been lucky because I had some. I've gotten great mentors.
I've gotten some luck along my path too, of little turns into us at the right time, the right place. One of my big mentors is Sally Glassman from New Orleans, the Voodoo Queen. When I first fell in love with voodoo, it was because I watched her do a head washing on the St. John's Bridge, and it was like, there's dark and light in everything, but when I saw that power and that energy and that love and just people, it just makes me want to cry so emotionally, of all that being washed off their head and their understanding their aura and it was just like this, whoa, just opened up with me, and everything that I was taught about voodoo, about, oh, you're going down a bad path. It completely changed everything of whatever I thought voodoo was. And
people don't realize that, because you know, all we know is stuff that's been regurgitated from the movies from the 1940s.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what the problem is. And everything gets a bad rap. Nobody understands the pure cultural and traditional implications of of whys and hows. It's the religion of the downtrodden. People don't understand that, and people, you know, automatically think that they're going to get, you know, they're going to ingest puffer fish and they're going to go into a zombie-like state and that whole thing. Come on,
and
you know,
and even when you go to an Elay and they do Ebo, you know, and you know, there's the sacrifice, whether that's the goat or the chicken, or, you know, depending on what's going on. You know, I went to one for a Yemaya initiation, and it was just such a beautiful experience of just how learning with the godmother of the house, how we prepare certain dishes to take to the corners, to prepare for, you know, this person, and just everything that was such in detail, and how everything was cooked, and then everything, once the, you know, provision is given to the orishas, the next part of how the community and the house is fed, and there's community. They don't see that part of the beauty of it, that everybody, and when you go into the temple and you go into the Elay, and you're giving thanks to your ancestors, and you're giving thanks in that presence of something altogether divine is in that moment with you. They don't understand and recognize that part, because all they want to know is all the bullshit that they've seen on Hollywood TV. So they
want the Bourbon Street trinkets is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Gene Jerome has got a really good write up on who Zozo is. Yeah, it's very, very, it's I have to agree. Yeah, it's a very old entity. It's Sumerian, and but again, where did it come from? How did it, you know, we don't know. We don't understand how we kind of, like, you know, kind of just connect into it. Why and how. Now it's becoming more, I think it's becoming more prevalent now again. It's coming up more and more because I think it's in the consciousness of the people because of TV and books and stuff. So I think it's a little bit more prevalent, but originally why and how, and you know, when you start thinking about Sumerians and there is, you know, the older the energy, the more sacred or more powerful it is, and that's something that people don't get. That's true. Like earth energies, man. You got to watch earth. You get an old earth energy, you know, that it can whoop you pretty good. Excuse me.
No, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I wanted to reach back to something that when, you know, Tim was talking about the gravestones, you know, talking about dirt and things like that. There's certain aspects, you know, that people don't know about dirt, you know, whether it's graveyard dirt, bank dirt, church dirt, you know, everything. I mean, just there's so much around us that, you know, we don't realize affects our everyday life, or can, you know, different things. But, you know, I'll shut up. I don't know. Yeah.
I make my own. Listen, I make my own graveyard dirt, and the reason why I do it is because I don't trust anybody. Yeah. You know, like you know, if you're gonna go and I have one person that I trust that I buy ingredients from for different things, but for the most part, I will go and gather it myself, and that's why I keep I keep all my work very, very simple. But it's the same thing with proper holy water. It's church from it's the water from 7 churches, and I will go out there and I will do that because of the fact that I know what's going into it. And you know, we live in a mail order witch society, you know, and we don't know if it's actually what it purports to be. Same thing with oil, same thing. You have to know. I buy a lot of my oils from a Santeria shop. I understand where he gets it from. I know, and I trust Luis. So you have to understand what you're doing with it, and you have to be careful with it. Don't buy it. So careful what you're buying, man.
Tim, you keep on saying how there's a lot of things that people may need help with, or you know, you believe in mentorship.
Yeah.
Lume Star asked if you have any advice on finding a mentor.
It's tough. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
It's tough. They always told me when you're ready, the teacher will show up. And I have to say, in my life, it's true, because
it's true.
I'll come right out and say I've had a lot of crappy teachers.
Yeah.
And I've had a few unbelievable teachers. And my relationship with those great teachers caused problems, within the churches and that I served, because because I did things differently, and it was even, I'll be honest with you, within the spiritualist religion itself. So I had to go, and it's like the law of repulsion. The more you want something, the more you reach for it, the further it kind of goes away from you. So what I do is I just put it out there, and I work. And if I have to plateau, I plateau, because I figure that's what I'm supposed to be doing, letting it incorporate into my psyche. And then all of a sudden, it's amazing, because somebody will say this person's in town, or somebody will say, listen, why don't you go talk to this person? That's how I met them. That's how I met my mentors. My mentor right now is Sharon Klingler from Ohio, and she's an amazing medium. Taught me more about mediumship than anybody I've ever known. So I consider her one of my mentors. The late Raymond Buckland. I met him. I was down at the Lilydale Assembly. I'm sitting on the porch of the Maplewood Hotel. This little British guy with a shock of white hair and his beard. And we started talking. And, we were talking about his childhood in England. The house across the street from him got hit with the part of a rocket and burned. And he was fascinating. And he got up and left. And a guy said, do you know who the hell that was? I said, no. He goes, that's Ray Buckland. I said, come on. I had his books. I didn't know. There he is. And I got to know him, and I got to know him pretty well. And I learned so much from him. This is, again, John Zaffis, he comes rolling into town, does one lecture. I talked to him. I saw him again probably about 2 or 3 years later. He remembered me. We got to be friends. This is the way it works. It's just sometimes the universe puts these things. If you put it out there, the universe will bring it to you. And you have to have patience. That's the big thing. The other thing is sometimes there are things that out there that may not vibe with you well, and the universe will just push it away. No matter how much you want it to push, the universe will keep pushing it away from you, and put you in that right direction. No matter how you go kicking and screaming, that's what happened to me, because I was going in one direction, and that it just didn't vibe. It was terrible. I loved it, and I sucked at what I was doing, and I just and next thing I know, I just got put in another direction, and it was bang, 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 one thing after another. I met my friend Witch Doctor Atu from St. Catharines. He's big with the the whole Harriet Tubman, the Harriet Tubman story. He studied under Priestess Miriam from New Orleans.
Teresa and John Jerome know him as well, Tim. Just to let you know, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I love him.
And they had him on their show as well. So
I love him.
Yeah. So they're
he's a great person. He's just a great person. And if you ever go to his hut, it's an amazing experience, because I walk in there and it's like, oh my God, I want all of this in my house. I want every painting. I want every artifact. I want this in my house. But I met him. You know how I met him? I was at a Yule celebration, and they were playing. He's with the Dragon Ritual Drummers. Yeah. And they were playing. And I walked up to him and I said, my God, this was phenomenal. The drumming was like amazing.
Yes.
I stayed in contact with him. Next thing I know, we became friends. And then I've met so many people up. And that's the one thing that sucks about this. I will say the one thing for me that sucks with the COVID virus is the fact that the borders are shut. And I can't go up there to see my Canadian friends, because my God, they are amazing. They're just, every time I go up there, I learn something new. I always do. and they're just great people. But who would ever have thought I had this much interest in voodoo? I'm talking this much.
Yeah.
I met him, and the next thing I know, it just exploded. And I give him credit. He sold the stuff that he taught me. I sold 3 houses.
Wow.
With what the methodology that he used.
And
and
that's what I love about it. Teresa and Jean Jerome, they're Canadian as well. They are very much, and that like-minded. Actually, Jean Jerome is my Baba, so I was very honored to.
Good.
Yes,
that's cool.
He came much in my life as Teresa did at that moment where I just needed that absolute direction change. And I feel like I've looked for my Baba all my life. I'm 47, and it was just I would never find the right one. It was just never that where the spirits would say, what I'm saying.
Yep.
And I met Teresa, and she connected me with John Jerome, and it was just like.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing the way that works?
And so I just introduced them to you because they are phenomenal. John Jerome is just amazing. He speaks bazillion different languages, and he is just so versed in so many different things. And he's friends with another guy named Danielle, which you would love him as well. So just all that connection of how people happen. I love that community.
But this is how mentorship starts. This is how it all works. This is how you find your mentors and your teachers, because it's not going out there and searching for it. It's going out there and allowing it to happen. Mm-hmm. And when you allow it, it flows. And that's what I think the importance of what we do is, the fact that we are able to, when you're a seeker, I feel everything flows, and that's what you want. It's very, very easy, and that's what we love. Jean Jerome, I cannot believe this is like so. This is crazy cool. I love that. I love when stuff this. I know Chip Coffey pretty well, and Chip Coffey is one of these guys that always is like big into synchronicity. This is synchronicity. Yeah, this is synchronicity in action.
It is, because I feel like you guys are supposed to connect. For some reason, I don't know, and that's why I needed to say what I needed to say. Spirit is like, she's like, hit me in the back of the head. So, okay. All right, so for whatever purposes, y'all got that. But, I agree with you when the spirits take us in the direction, and even those things can be so absolutely detrimental, pain, ass kicking. Things literally had to be ripped away from me. Otherwise, I would have not had the courage to do it myself, even though I knew things were wrong, and I'm grateful, because I knew if I did not have that removed out of my life, it would not have put me on my path of purpose. And I'm grateful.
And sometimes you need it removed in order to make room for this new vibe that comes in. That's the hardest thing in the world, because man, nobody wants to have that change hit you, man. Everybody wants
trust me, they removed a Russian out of my life. And let me tell you, how Russian men, they are obstinate and they don't leave. And I'm just like, I'm so glad they took him out. So I'm just saying, not like took him out like CIA body bag, but that would have been okay with me too.
Hey, whatever is good. Whatever
it takes to get him gone.
That's why I think you're the most beautiful creature on this earth right now. I'm telling you, right now.
I know that he was and all I know is, from what I understand from a friend of a friend, that my spirits did take care of him, and he did kind of get like an IRS audit. I don't know how that happened, but
listen, that's a lot easier. It's a lot easier than having a poppet with a penis that gets broken. So I mean,
I did that too.
That's
look, I knew you did. I knew you would do one. I knew it. I knew that. I knew you would do one of those. I knew it.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
No.
I could have gone. I could have put money on that. I could have put money on that one.
Yep, you definitely can cash that check because it's money in the bank, baby. That was a done deal.
Oh my God, this, you know what? I am so glad I didn't go drumming. This is a great interview. I love this one. This is great.
I have to say, I miss drumming too because I used to drum with the Cups chapter and UU when I lived in Fort Lauderdale, and I used to have this most beautiful djembe, and we do the full moon drumming. So anyone who's never done drumming, it is fantastic. It is just this amazing energy, and doing it under the full moon, even if you get to do that, it's fantastic. It is like this whole other just intense just connection with Mother Earth. And so I'm just saying,
we do we welcome the dusk. We go out, we meet on a beach on Lake Erie, and we get about 30 people, and we drum from 6:30 till dusk, and we welcome that. And on Mondays, it's funny because I'm retired, and I have some friends that are retired, and I have a couple people that have sucky days off, like Monday, and so we meet in a park. A county park here, and we drum. And I've every so often you can buy a half djembe. It doesn't have the stand. It's just got the night with the for $25 or at a garage sale or bongos, anything to make a joyous noise, and a go-go. The shakers, whatever. And so we do, and we meet on Mondays also, and we it's like a little men's group. It's like nice. It's like a men's bitch fest. / drum your troubles.
I would love it. I have a little drum.
It's great. I love that.
I have a little drum that actually I borrowed it from a local psychic for when I investigated the Hinsdale house with the Ectovision Paranormal. That's how many years ago now? And I still have the drum, and it just kind of sits now in a closet. Because I've offered to give it back to him many times. He's reached out to me. When are we going to do this? It's just for whatever reason. It's just like it just doesn't work. So I'm now starting to admit to myself that maybe I'm supposed to have this drum for something. And I would love to start drumming. And man, I know.
Make a circle.
You know what? It's funny because I suck at drumming. I have,
I suck.
I am the ultimate white boy. I cannot. I have no rhythm. I can't play basketball. There is nothing I can't.
Right?
But you know what I do is I'm on YouTube, and I got like 3 rhythms down. I can do good enough because we all know that drumming is, it's sort of like when you attend Native American rituals. Dancing is a prayer. It's all part of it. And that's the way I look at drumming, because drumming is a prayer. I believe that's all part of it, and it's great. I have friends that have post-traumatic stress. They're all Gulf War veterans. It helps them. It helps people that really have anxiety. And it brings like a little bit of peace and a little bit of calm into your life. And that's why I love doing it. Although I will tell you right now, I'm glad I didn't go tonight because I am so thrilled. I met some great people on here, and I got and I know the truth about you now. I know the spell work you do. I know that spell work. You keep urologists in business. I'm just going to tell you that right now with that spell work.
Marina, he's got your number.
I got you. You're right. I got your number.
Well, I'm just saying. Let me put. I found my halo somewhere.
Okay.
I lost. It's my halo's down there below.
I do have ones though. So look, see, and they're all blinky too, man. I'll put those on.
There you go. See, you can't find your halo, but you got your horns.
Oh, absolutely. I never leave home without them.
I like those. I like those horns, though. They're so little and perky.
So funny. That's so funny.
So, anyways.
Oh my God! I can't even see the screen. I'm laughing so I got tears. Oh. Oh my gosh.
See, Sean, and like I said, I think you should do a drum circle. I think
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you if there's anyone local. I got a fire pit in my backyard. I got a drum. Hit me up on Facebook if we can get some local people. We can do it. My neighbors will hate me, but I don't give a crap.
A friend of mine hooked me up with a Zoom virtual drum circle.
Oh yeah,
there are people from Australia on there and all over, different places, different parts of the world. That's crazy because you can suck and it still sounds so good, and you're like, oh my God, it's great. So that I do that like if I'm not if I get done with whatever all my major projects in the house by 7:00 on a Thursday, I do that too. So, but drumming, it's great when I'm going to, I actually, it's funny with the new house. I swear to God, I wasn't going to tell anybody what I did or, and I got, I was just before we moved in and we were closing on the house. The owner, because it was a for sale by owner. We were talking and he introduced me to the neighbor next door and I had just gotten back. He knew I filmed an episode of Portals to Hell and I was in Flagstaff, Arizona. And he goes to me, well, did you find anything? And, so my one neighbor knows that I'm kind of, what I do. And everybody's like, well, we have to have a drum circle to cleanse your house. So we're going to go and I have some people coming over this weekend and maybe we will, but I'm going to have a little bit of an official one probably in August where I'm going to invite, a certain group of people over and I'm going to bring in, I'm going to bring in a leader. I'm going to bring in a drum leader and we're going to drum in our backyard. So I already warned my one neighbor and now my other neighbor, I'm going to tell him, but I don't want to tell him anything else. I'm afraid that he's going to think that we're all going to be dancing around naked around the fire with a dead chicken or something, so I don't want to do that to him, but and I have, I have a retired cop across the street, so I don't want to bring any more suspicion to my house than I already have,
What I love about drumming, it does connect me to two sides of myself, my Hawaiian self, which I love to dance, and that connects me to spirit, but also mostly my Lakota side, and that when I tend to drum, I tend to go into that Native American chanting, and White Buffalo woman is present. And I think that's what I miss the most about being able to be connected to drum circles and be connected to like the powwows and things of that nature. Just to have that aspect of that presence of the Native American, and it is such a beautiful, beautiful experience.
It is, and I'm one of those people that I try to go and I respect everything. I try to respect the cultural, all the cultures and traditions. And the one thing I have to say is that I'm not a meditator. I suck at meditating. I'm one of the world's worst meditating. When I prep, if I'm going to do gallery or reading, I got like, AC/DC going on, going on. I mean, it's otherwise I can't do it. I'm not one of these people,
Zeppelin, girl. I'm always Led Zeppelin gets me there. I don't know what.
But I have to say that drumming is the only time that I can actually, separate and do that zone, because I do trance work and all that, but it's like I can actually feel physically where I can separate through, and it's so strong, and that's what I love about it. And you get that once you get that rhythm, and then you shut your brain off. It's almost like when you're working with automatic writing and you shut your brain off, or you're concentrating on something else and you start writing. It's almost the same thing to me. And and of course, the minute it's like spoon bending too. The minute that you think about it, it stops. And
absolutely.
I think about it and I go right out of beat.
I've been working on my telekinesis stuff for a while, and and also like when, like you said, you do the trance work and the automatic writing. I tend to do a lot of stuff with light language and sigils and things like that. Do you find that you do the same as well, Tim, or how does it come across with you? Because it's very few and far between that I've met a lot of mediums that do that. Because typically what I'll do is they'll have me write in the light language, and then afterwards it's like I can kind of run my fingers over it and translate the message. How does it work for you, just out of curiosity?
For automatic writing, I mean, first of all, I first learned automatic writing with the writing planchets, because those actually predate the Ouija board. So I mean, again, I had them because of the fact that I was growing up so close to the Lilydale Assembly, so I had teachers that used them, and then I started working, and what I noticed was I end up just like zoning off. Like I'll watch TV or I'll watch YouTube video, and I put a pen in my hand and I can feel the vibration coming up. And it's funny because sometimes for the most part I write English. Yeah. But there's other times that I don't. And there's different drawings and stuff. And when I look at them at the end, I can interpret what I wrote. Yeah. But it's not English. And
that's pretty funny because that's what happens with me. And it's like it's literally almost from beginning to end. I cannot take a breath. I cannot stop until whatever that is written, and that code is done, because it's like, and it's just like, I feel like there's this whole conglomerate, like this whole council that is like in my head having like a business meeting, and there's one that steps forward and you hear all that. And I just like, so it's good for me to be able to experience and talk to someone on a level that, because I don't know very many people that do that.
Well, this is stuff that, the churches never taught this.
Yeah.
Early on, when I was little, when I was young, like in the 70s, they taught it. But as the 70s grew over, they didn't want that stigma of the golden age of fraud. Yeah. So from the 40s and that, they didn't want that stigma, and they wanted to hide a lot of it. It's funny because even like the church services were never held on Sundays. A lot of them were held on Wednesdays. And the one church that I belonged to, the light on the porch burned out in the night, like 1964, and wasn't replaced until 2000.
Wow.
Because they didn't want, what they were afraid of is they didn't want the good Catholics or the Christians to be seen going into this church, and it was a church, and the church it was built in 1911 by spiritualists for the religion. So a lot of it kind of went to the wayside. Same thing with seance, same thing with physical phenomena, same thing with transfiguration. A lot of that stuff was pushed to the side because they didn't want the stigma of any kind of fakery. And luckily now, a friend of mine is the secretary of the National Spiritual Association of Churches, and she told me that they're actually pushing more for physical phenomena and seance work. Yeah. And I love that because I love working with it. But a lot of people, first of all, being somebody who has been on TV, I understand how bad it looks. Yeah. It doesn't translate well.
Like
and you
Penny when she did her seance and she cracked her back, that was some badass shit there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's something there. But most of the time you don't see that. And if you do full trance, where you allow, like I do partials, I just go and I won't allow the spirit to move anything. You can use my hands, you can use my face, but you can't use my legs. Because I saw a guy back when I was a kid jump out of a chair and run into a wall and bust his nose. Yeah. In trance. So after that, I'm very, very, I put a lot of boundaries on it. Yeah. So you have to be very careful with that. Yeah. But like with me now, the trance work, I just go in and out pretty quickly. And sometimes I can. Do you find that like sometimes you can remember like a little bit, sometimes you can remember the whole session, but I'm at that point where it's like I can remember little bits and pieces, but that's it. But then the big thing is like when it's over, whoosh, It's done. It's done.
Exactly how it is for me. So typically, if I'm by myself, I will try to do like a digital recording or a video recording or something like that, or even with people who are with me, because I need someone there to validate it, because it's like me, that energy is so fast. It's like boom, 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 boom. And it unless I'm doing the auto writing and then I have something, that is black and white.
Right.
I know this, that I do set my boundaries and my limits, because I know when I channel, I call it hitchhiking. I feel like I'm in the back seat of a car and they're kind of driving, but I still know where I'm going. That's how I equate it.
Basically, yeah, I agree.
But I've had everything from Lilith to Saint Michael, just different ones kind of hijack me at a point in time. The first time it ever happened to me, Tim, I thought I was dying. Literally, I thought I was dying, because I didn't know what was going on with me. So what had happened, I was laying in my bed, and I have a heart condition, so I literally thought that okay, my heart started to slow down, and I could feel this wooziness that was happening with me, and it's like in my mind's eye, and every part of what I thought, because how my body was physically reacting, I was like, this is it. I'm fucking freaking dying, and it was just like, and then all of a sudden I hear this really high pitched frequency, and then this light, just like that, and there was this calm and this peace, and I felt like it was at the center of everything. I was not afraid at all. And then, the angel, gave me the message, and it was just like, and then all of a sudden, everything just kind of like pushed off. My heart rate elevated. I sat up and I was like, well, ain't that some shit?
With me, it's funny because it's like, I studied natural awareness with Tom Brown Jr. He's a big tracker, natural awareness guy, but he's also a mystic. He really is. And it's like you go into the zone with a single breath, you come out. And so with me, it's like whoosh, one breath in.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like a warp of time. It's like it's gone. It's gone. And I come back, and it could be 5 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. I lose track of that time. And it's sort of like, everybody goes, well, do you see anything or anything? No, it's just a feeling. But see, I lost the ability to see subjectively.
Yeah.
A long time ago, when I was really working hard. That's the best way I can describe it. And I lost the ability. But again, I was trained as a gallery reader, as in churches early. So what it was my mentor said, listen, it's just a quicker way for you to get it. You're getting the essence of everything coming through rather than seeing it, rather than experiencing it. And now, it's like when I do trance, it's like boom, boom. It's I don't get any of the visual. It's like all of a sudden it's like fade to black, fade up. And that's just the way for me. If that's just the way it is,
I think I may try something like that, because like usually what will happen with me is when I go into something, it's just like there's this light, and it's like all these different paths just separate, and I see all these 5 different parallel things, past, present, future, everything, and they're just like all these different TVs. You know what I mean? And it's like the strangest thing. And it's just like one time I feel like I would reach up and turn the knob off, and if done with that vision, or just what I mean. And it's just the craziest thing. And then it was just like, I think that's how I feel like maybe I travel. I don't know. And it's just the weirdest sensation.
I don't remember, like, even traveling and stuff. I don't remember, and I don't remember dreams, because I trained myself not to remember anything, like with readings or anything, or what I'm saying. I try not to remember anything, and I think it goes even to my dream state, because I know I dream, but very, very seldom do I visualize it where I can remember it enough. So I think that's just part of my cognitive conditioning. But I got to say hello to Nick here. Nick, I met in the Chicago Paracon a few years ago, and I haven't seen you since then. And I got to tell you, there's somebody I met there that was like my ultimate hero. I met Svengoolie at the Chicago Paracon, and that's like the that's like meeting the ultimate. But Nick, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
I love my Nick. He's my home slice. And then I wanted to ask you, because John Jerome asked you a question, Tim, and he wanted to know. It says, Tim, were you ever introduced to the study of works by Alan Kardec?
Kardec, yes. And it's funny because the brand of spiritualism that I was taught didn't really, it included him as a name, but it really wasn't the philosophy.
Yeah.
So I actually was able to go and online. There's all sorts of translations of his work. So I have read a lot of it, and I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of his stuff. See, the problem that I have with American spiritualism is that a lot of it's watered down.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you go to England, man, you go to Britain, it's a whole different animal there, where, they really take their spiritualism seriously. And with Kardec, it's the same way. I love how how everything slowly developed with him. Yeah. And I think I like his philosophy. I like his, I'll be honest with you. I feel that he actually resonates more with me now. And here's a funny a little story. So a bunch of us are getting together and we're studying for our boards, and we're at the church, and the whole Fox sister story comes up, and and how do we know if it's true? How do we know if there was a peddler? How do we know all this stuff? Now I go up to the foundation of the Fox house all the time. A friend of mine's a caretaker up there, so I get a chance to go up there. I get a chance to touch the foundations and go into, it's under a pole barn now. I get a chance to go in the building, but I still question everything. I question it. So we said, well, how are we going to resolve this? Let's do table turning. Well, the table started banging around, and names were different than what we learned. 2 weeks later, a girl comes in with a book called American Spiritualism by Harding, and boom, that's the way the names are spelled and in this book, not the way we're taught. So we started talking more and more about Kardec, and we asked, what we're learning proper, or should we look in another place? And the table's banging out K-A-R. I'm like, it's spelled Kardec. And after that, we started doing a little bit more research, and that's where I started finding more of his stuff online. So yeah, I've actually read a lot of it, and it does resonate more with me. I'm not a mesmer guy. I'm not even like Andrew Jackson. Oh God, my brain just shut off. One of the founders. I'm not really into a lot of his stuff. A lot of the American spiritualism, I really have seen that so much of it is so diluted. And you start looking at the different, when they had to go and they had the commissions that were formed, so they had to, band together to the first church organizations. I think so much of it was lost. And I believe that European, and I believe Kardec actually is a purer form of what you should be looking at as a spiritualist. Yeah. And but again, depends on your religion, depends on, depends on how far you want to push the envelope. And it depends if you want to jump down that rabbit hole. But if you're a truth seeker, you should be jumping down that rabbit hole like immediately if you can. There's a couple other people that I have been following too.
I know Sean has a question from a guest on Spreaker. And the second thing I want to say is that, Sean, if you look behind you, it looks like you have a ghost child with legs or something on that shadow standing beside you. It's kind of creepy. And 3, after Sean has his question, I want to know what are your favorite chaos books as far as that. So that's me, and I'm going to shut up right now. But I swear, doesn't it look like a creepy ghost thing standing behind Sean, shadow-wise?
Right there?
Yes.
The shadow?
Yes, it looks like a kid with a leg. It's kind of creepy.
The lady in my house came and was checking us out a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be quiet.
To her.
So we have a listener, Black Dragons Radio. He's asking for Tim Shaw. He wants to know how many years you've been into the paranormal.
Well, let's see. It's hard to. For me, the paranormal is part of the religion. So, if that's the case, 1972, I was introduced into the Lilydale Assembly. I took classes. I did all the children's seances and Lyceum, which is a Sunday school. I went through high school. Most of high school into it, and then I discovered sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it was the disco age, of course. And I left it for a while, and I got married in 1982, and by 1983, I had come back to it. And by 83, paranormal started. The actual study of I shouldn't say the actual study of paranormal, because that goes back, with all the other, with all the greats. But I would say paranormal, like you started seeing it on TV more. You started seeing the TV, like especially in the fall. You had all the Leonard Nimoy was on, on the tube every week. So probably I got really serious in 83, and then I really started getting into like the toys and the meters and stuff. Right around 85, we started doing the experiments rather than just doing the pure spiritualism. So yeah, I've been kicking around a little bit with a little break in between.
85. That's when I moved to Ohio.
I was born in 57, so that makes me one of the guys that helped carve the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, I was 6. So.
But Andrew Jackson Davis, my brain just jumped back in. But Andrew Jackson Davis was one of the big philosophers of the spiritualist movement. But again, you have to kind of look at who actually wrote his philosophical books. You have to really be careful about that. It's sort of like when you study Mormonism, you have to understand that Joseph Smith may have not been the main interpreter of the golden tablets that were given to him by the angel Moroni in Hill Cumorah in Palmyra, New York. You understand that there's other people that were involved in the interpretation, and then of course the golden tablets were given back to Moroni. So you have to kind of balance it. You have to really read it and. Yes. You have to take everything with a grain of salt. But that's why I like Kardec's books, because Kardec is a little bit different, because Kardec is more direct. There's influences, but not all these crazy influences that have really gone and changed the basic philosophy of what we do. So yeah, I've been kicking around a long time.
Well, it's kind of crazy though, because a lot of people. Like they think that this is kind of like a new thing, and the fact of the matter is that, like religion, it's not. This spirituality, paranormal, supernatural, Wicca, voodoo, hoodoo, all this has been around for centuries, and this is nothing new. People, I think, just have their eyes or minds more open to it.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And G. Jerome has put up there about he's exactly students of Kardec, scientific spiritism, and that's spiritism is different. And you know, the one thing that I do like is some of my Santeria friends they consider themselves spiritualists, but they study spiritism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mix, it's a hybrid of them. And that's what I find is so amazing. You know, I love the fact that he wrote on there. I don't know why Alan Kardec jumped into my mind, but you know, but he should be, you know what, he's like, when we start talking about the heavy hitters of the, you know, of the witchcraft and the craft traditions, a lot of people gloss over Scott Cunningham because Scott Cunningham wasn't around that long. You know, he was prolific, but he passed away at a relatively young age. Mm-hmm. So they don't, you know, everybody hears about Gardner and everybody hears about, you know, but nobody really hears that much about Cunningham. So it's, to me, Kardec is the same way in the, you know, U.S. spiritualist community. And I hate to say it, but it's like the white U.S. spiritualist community. Whereas anybody who has, you know, any ethnicity, spiritism, especially if you go down into like Brazil and you go even into some parts of Central America, you start seeing spiritism in there as you know, as one of the main ingredients in you know, in their version of the religion. So yeah, I think Kardec is amazing. And I've still got to read even more about him, because I've read like biographies and I've read some of the writings, and then I have to stop for a while and like get my head clear and like cut the grass or something, and then I'll go back and I'll look for other ones. So yeah, I really find them fascinating. But again, you have to do that. You have to do that. If you're gonna concentrate on something, you have to look at the whole. You know, you have to gestalt it. You can't go and just look at one point. You know, in order to understand the philosophy, the gestalt method is the best way to do it.
Now, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around like the Liber Null. It's a really wordy, heavy, deep sandwich for me. I prefer kind of more like a grilled cheese, like, you know, condensed chaos, like, you know, things like that. Because
I'm going to use that one too. I prefer the grilled. Listen, I prefer my teaching to be like more of the grilled cheese rather than the BLT of whatever I'm teaching. I love that.
It is, because, you know, you still have that. I mean, like it is like, you know, I tried to dedicate myself to read like all the keys of Solomon and all that. I was like, I got through like maybe like the 7th page. I was like, I was ready for a nap. I am not gonna lie.
Is there a book on tape? Maybe you need that.
No,
those are the worst. They'll put you right to sleep.
I am too ADD for that, you know. So like, I kind of like stick with like the simple PDFs and the things like that I know that I can get through without needing a nap, because, you know, Zarina is, you know, yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So what would you say when you're talking on the topic of like chaos magic and things, some of your things that you would recommend book-wise or anything of that nature, who anybody wanted to kind of investigate that route, Tim?
Well, you know what? I'm a friend with...
Hey, Tim,
yes,
real quick.
Yes.
Also, in this, can you add in where some of your books and where people can find some of your stuff?
Oh, my God. Well, let's see. Out of 6 books I have, 2 of them are still in print. So
okay.
So I'm working on self-publishing next. That's my next big goal, so I don't run out of books, you know. But the ones that are still in print is I have the Ghost of Buffalo, which is my own local area. You can get those right on Amazon, and that's by Schiffer Publishing. And I'm hoping by Christmas I'm going to self-publish a volume 2 to it, so I can get that out. The other one is a companion book to a movie. They hired me, the little production company hired me on to write the companion book to the C2D1 Haunting, which is a temporal possession attempt of a kid at Geneseo State College in 1985. and I believe you can still get that at Amazon. I think you can. Yeah, I'm almost positive that's still available. So, and if you can't, drop me a line, on Facebook, message me on Facebook, because that's the best way to get a hold of me. Because, I'm a guy, brain, I have some brain damage here.
I had to send you a new ad because I deleted my old profile because I had a stalker. Okay. So if you get it, it's not a fake me, it's a real me. So I'm just letting you know I have some stalker issues. So I'm just saying.
But it's funny, when you talk about that, it's like it got to the point where on Facebook I had so many people, and it got really bad. It got nasty. Yeah. So I dropped it. I started something new, and the deleted page redeleted it, or it started up again. So now I have to figure out how to redelete that one. So look, if there's one on there that's got a picture of Krampus. That's the one that was deleted. So look for a picture of this smiling face
in a mask.
In a mask.
That's the one I just sent you. That's what I did because I was just like, so the real Serena, that I'm not, like someone in Zimbabwe, or my rich uncle had died, and
I keep waiting for my Somalian princess to come and.
Well, the real Serena, please stand up. Please stand up.
Well, let me tell you, I do have a question because I was on about this with Sean because something happened with me where I was on this whole kick about the 369 Tesla manifestation theory, and I tested this out. I wrote that I needed, such and such on a certain date, and then I did the method. The next day, it manifested. I was like, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So are you familiar with this? Am I just crazy? Or
well, you're crazy, but so are the rest of us. So. I mean, we're not
all crazy.
We're all funny. Yeah, that's exactly
100%. I don't think there's such thing as sane, and I don't think there's such thing as normal. I think it's all just a made up idea.
Guys love crazy girls. They're all crazy. No,
they are. So now, Tim, Black Dragons Radio from Spreaker, he wants to be your friend on Facebook too. So I'm just throwing that out there. So
send me a friend request.
There it is.
Send
him a friend request. Dragons Radio.
And actually, what I did was I had about 5,000 on the new page, and I actually backed it off. I'm probably under 800 right now. Yeah. The reason I backed a lot of it off was because I wasn't going and advertising myself. I had given up I gave up my agent, and I started to embrace semi-retirement because I up until this time, I'm usually really busy. I volunteer at Lockport cable TV. And I produce and I direct and I can do camera work and whatever for not-for-profits, and that takes up a lot of my time. And I started cutting back on a lot of events where I was just doing, like last year I did 38 events, but this year I was going to do probably 15 to 20 at top, and so I had to back all the friends and everything way down. So that I wasn't, advertising, and I had given up the shows too. I had given up because I had the Black Cat Lounge for 12 years, and then I was on CBS for a couple of years, and so I kind of backed everything down. And now, of course, I'm kind of building it back up again because I'm on Mondays on Facebook. I do a little, I do a Black Cat Lounge. I do my very crude way of working it, and just kind of chat for an hour and bring out more junk to show. I'll show people.
Nice. Nick Muley says everybody's crazy nowadays, Tim. Now, you know what? I think people have always been freaking crazy. I think that people are just more open to it, or people just don't give a shit anymore. I think that people are, much like spiritualism and the paranormal, supernatural, that's getting more and more accepted. Well, I think that human beings are natural, mental. I don't know. I think that the whole crazy is able. It's more accepted. It's more accepted.
Paranormal. you were crazy up until the big sponsors came into being and produced the shows and started doing quality shows rather than the sporadic single episode shows. And that was a huge thing that started, and it gave it legitimacy. And the how long Ghost Hunters lasted, that was amazing, because the average life expectancy of any ghost show is 2 years. So you get anything that long, it's like it becomes a classic. It really does. So and then again, you start getting like real sponsors, not like, hey, let's all go to Tim's Crab Shack and have some like really bad beer and some undercooked shrimp. You started getting, and it was hitting targeted age. You started getting people. You weren't getting like your 18 to 20-year-olds. They were targeting like 30s and 40s and 50s and onward. And when you started doing that, they started giving a lot of things legitimacy. And then next thing you know, travel channels dropped all the travel and just started going with ghosts. Right. And and you started seeing that, this is the stuff that's going on and for a while, every network was vying for a ghost show, something everybody was, I don't even know during that time period. I can't even tell you how many pilots I did. Yeah. And, it's like it so everybody's it's a little bit more legitimate now. People are a little bit more open to it. It's not something that people sweep under the table. A lot of people love to be armchair quarterbacks with it. So that's what it is. But craziness is, I know crazy people. I hang out with crazy people. I worked with insane people. And if anybody ever comes to any of my church services, you'll see insanity. Or if you see me in a casino, I do casino gallery readings. Yeah. And if you've never experienced that, man, this ain't your mother's gallery.
Do you stream those?
Do I? No, because I don't have the facilities to do it. I have no clue. You know what? I'm lucky I can do what I can do with these two fingers, Right. At the studio, it's amazing because it's like so simple because you have all the stuff there. But to go and schlep and set up, one day I might.
I would love to do a gallery. I mean, I did little parties and things like that, but I've never did it, big time, because I've never kind of like really put myself out there. I think this is the most I've ever done with Sean, and it's just like, because I don't ever want to come off like anyone from Long Island, because I'm a little you know what I'm talking about. I am crazy, but I'm not saying anything bad. But when
my whole thing is you can't go up to people like that. You just can't, because it's that whole thing where you can go and change somebody's fate by doing something like that. However, if they go to a gallery or they go to a message service, they're their own free will, and they expect
you're giving them permission.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a little different. But again, I mean, it sucked when I was growing up. I mean, a lot of the spiritualist churches, they didn't have candles, they didn't have anything. They were just bare bones. It was no, I mean, it was no, flair to it, and the mediums, though, the women used to have to wear skirts that were just above their ankles, but the men were peacocks, 3-piece suits with the gold, all the rings and the gold, and I mean the tie pins and everything. It was amazing. So in the book, Keeler's book, Lilydale, a medium said that, well, you know what, the favorite mediums are not the best mediums. They're the ones that the people like because they're showmen. And I thought to myself, well, that's kind of sucky, because of the fact that you should be able to, be both. If you're going to get a message across, you have to be able to convey it in a way that people will want to listen to it. And the same thing with the message work, you have to do it. Yeah. So with me, it's not unusual. I did a social distancing correct stump service medium, or a subservice a couple weeks ago, and I have one coming up, this Friday. where I said to everybody, we're going to celebrate change. And that was the whole, and I don't do a big service. I just talk, and basically I'm like the master of ceremonies, and I bring other mediums on, and I do quotes, and I talk about change. Like I talked about change. However, I said, this kind of sucks because Mardi Gras was right around the corner, and we didn't get a chance to go, and we didn't get a chance to celebrate it. So I had everybody singing When the Saints Come Marching In, and I threw Mardi Gras beads. And then I was warning the guys not to lift their shirts up, And, but, by doing that, it grabs the attention of the people. They're having a nice time. It raises, and yourself, the happier everything is, the vibrations go up. And I'm a lazy medium, so I want to go and get my messages without trying to work too hard. And people have a good time, and they're more receptive. And and we usually have it's myself and usually 3 other mediums. And it's nice because everybody's comfortable, and whereas it's not something that, I had to go and do this. I had to be there. No, I want to be there. And that's what you want. And the casinos are the best ones are the 9 o'clock drunk tank gallery.
My goal is to do a casino with you.
You would love it because people are just like, they are 3 sheets to the wind, and they're in there. And usually they sell 60 tickets, and then they're texting me, can we do 10 more? So you got about between 80 and 100 people in the gallery. Everybody again, 9 o'clock at night, people are feeling well. And what I do is I have candy at the casinos. And I throw candy at people. You go to the dollar store and you buy $20 worth of candy. What the hell? That's a lot of candy. But the best thing in the world is you get the little 3 Musketeer bars and you throw them. They're like tracer bullets. You can see where they're hitting. And every time you get somebody that's obnoxious and he's whatever, they're being disruptive, you go, hey, here, and you throw candy at them. They get hit in the head, and then they're eating candy, so they're not disruptive. So it's a lot of fun. I like doing them, but you have to. But again, you were doing serious work, but you're getting a message across, and everybody's happy. So why can't we bring joy and fun and happiness along with something that may be serious, maybe with a spirit message, and it's just fun to do that, and people miss it. People, the churches seem to miss that a lot, and I understand because I still go to one church, when I can, and I get my where we sing Nearer to God to Thee, and we're singing, you're not going to get that in my galleries. You're not going to get that in my services because, it's all rock and roll, people. We're going to have fun with this. And, the other thing that's funny is people will go and have these church services. And, most spiritualist church services, they rack in 15 to 30 people. I mean, I can, because of what I do, I can pack in anywhere between 60 to 100, depending on the venue we're working. And it's not like I'm doing it because of the money, but I'm doing it because Spirit told me. This is what you should do. You've trained your whole life to do that. This is fun. You got to have fun when you're doing it, because if you're not having fun when you're doing it, you shouldn't be doing it. And that's why I want to bring it to the people that I want to have fun, and I want them to have fun, and I want them to hear the word of Spirit, and I want them to think, and I want to get them to think. And that's what's so important.
And that's what I want to be doing. I definitely, I do not have the mentality anymore to really do customer service and deal with asshats all day. I just cannot. I cannot. I am here to do something, serve my purpose. Y'all need to get it together, make it happen, because this here, it ain't working anymore.
And the best part of my services, you can drop an F-bomb once in a while. Oops.
Well, I've been really good. I think I only did 3 tonight. Only, maybe, I don't know.
I just whenever one slips, I go like this. Wasn't me.
I just think we would rock it, Tim, like Elvis and Priscilla. Man. We would be like, we would just bam, it'll be on. So
but it's fun. It really is. But you have to, I mean, whenever I'm asked to speak at a church, I break out the suit coat and I do the whole thing. But that's not. I'm a showman. That's what I do. and I'm not ashamed to say it.
I'm not ashamed.
People will go and I have other mediums that criticize me because of what I do.
Yeah.
But I'm not ashamed of it, and and I can guarantee you that the message that I'm bringing across, and I am not gonna go and I'm not gonna jam it down somebody's throat.
Yeah.
You know what? If you catch change is inevitable, and we are all evolving every day. You've done it. You've got it. You've got everything. You don't need to know anything more of what I said. That's and you know what? I get messages like the next day saying, "Wow, you know, now I thought about it, and it just like came to me. You know, I was going to pee in the middle of the night, and after I flushed the toilet, it was like, oh hey, you know, all of a sudden I started thinking about what you said, and I'm happy because sometimes that's all it takes, and it helps people too.
Well,
you know?
I have to say, Sean knows when it's that time to get down to business. I get down to business, and I'm all about my seriousness, but. You know, that is part of me being who I am. I am that crazy, that X factor, that blah, blah, blah. I'm just all over the place. And thank God Sean can, you know, tame me every once in a while. And
good luck, Sean.
And keep me on that leash and puts up with me. And I love him for that. Sean is one of the most amazing hosts, but best friends I have in my life. And if I could have not got through a lot of the crap in my life if it wasn't for him, and just for him, you know, saying, you know what, the show will go on, and I feel like that is with him, with the circus of life. Sean is like this lion tamer, and you got this crazy carny chick right here. He's like he's keeping everything under the big chat, you know, all under control, and you know, so I have to say that about Sean.
We gotta get a gospel
keep it real. All I do is keep it real.
We gotta get a gospel bus. That's all I can say. We gotta get a gospel bus, and we're going. One big top, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Hey, I will bring the ukulele. He's got the drums, so I'll be like, we got this. I am down. You just let me know.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh, just don't let me start singing. Then it'll be all bad.
For some reason, that song came into my head. What is it? The world is gonna roll me. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Who sings that song? You know what I'm talking about?
Sharpest tool. I don't know. I say that about my kids, not the sharpest tool.
I know you know who that song is.
I'm Googling.
You're Googling?
I'm Googling.
You need to use your empathic, telepathic, all that kind of good stuff. You know, you're supposed to be leveling up here. Is it like something? Oh, Lord Jesus, I forgot it. I can't remember.
Smash Mouth All-Star. I gotta love
Smash Mouth All-Star. That's
Melvin,
it right there.
I love my Melvin.
Melvin, did he? Look at that.
Yes, he did.
And he said it just as I was. Of course, I had this window minimized, but that's exactly what came up here. Someone once told me the world's gonna roll me.
I ain't
the sharpest tool in the shed.
Unless I have tequila, but that's a whole other different story.
That's not really sharp. That's more of a.
Listen, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Zarina, tequila.
Yes,
okay, wait a minute. We're gonna keep a note on that.
Tequila.
I like the kind with the worm on in it because let me tell you. Tell you. No, it's not.
That's the cheap stuff. Yeah,
I just want the satisfaction.
That's the caca stuff. I drink Don Julio because I don't know.
Well, because you bougie. But let me tell you, are so
you know who made me bougie? My wife made me bougie. That's who made me bougie.
I just feel a sense of satisfaction of eating the worm when I get done. I don't know.
No! I'll tell you what. When I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, I worked at this restaurant bar, and one day all the cooks they were Hispanic, and they all spoke Spanish, and all of us servers, none of us spoke Spanish. And it was a challenge. And so I was just like, you know what? I took it upon myself to learn some Spanish, and we would teach each other. I would teach them some English. They would teach me some Spanish. It was like a trade. And then Cinco de Mayo came. And then they introduced me to the worm. I literally crawled home that day. So that I was building up to that moment, crawling home.
Well, I'm just saying,
nothing good comes of the worm.
I can't handle my tequila. Nothing
good comes of the worm. I can handle my tequila. It's that worm. That worm gets you.
I wouldn't know about such things.
I know. Let me adjust my halo. I'm just saying.
I survived disco. I don't know how. Barely. Barely I survived.
No, disco time. They had craziness going back on. My friend,
disco duck.
Yes, they did. And my friend, she used to do she was.
I had a friend in high school that had an 8-track player in their car, and we played disco duck. That's my disco. I was a kid in the 90s, and we had grunge, heavy metal, and we had I don't know. I don't know if I should say more, but yeah, we had raves. So they're kind of raves are kind of like discos, kind of, in a way, almost.
Sort of.
No. No. The thing that I
never went to a rave ever.
The thing that I miss is going to the roller rink. I could jam on some roller skates. Let me tell you, I was like, we were every weekend that we could when we were kids at the roller rink. Now, not with these ankles.
I go
not
to the
happening.
roller rink, and I would go. There's a roller rink.
Yeah.
It was a hangout spot. We go there and then we went to Dunkin' afterwards. But you go there and you flirt with the girls and you watch the people do their fancy roller rink dance stuff, because I was never good at it. I was into mountain bikes and stuff, so I never got into I can't do the they like flow on that floor. I could never do that. I was like, that looks like it hurts. So
I could skate backwards. I was jamming back then.
I could unintentionally do a circle and then
You were the one who got in the middle of the roller rink and did the hokey pokey. I know that.
No, I was the asshole who went around as fast as he could and couldn't stop and slammed into the wall.
Yes, I would have.
I had the long hair, wearing all black, and I was going I'm angry and angsty.
And you had a black overcoat, no less, probably.
I did not have a black overcoat, but
you were like Jay and the Silent Bob. Which one had the overcoat?
I wasn't that cool.
I will tell you my coolest moment ever is, in Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, their history book in that movie was my history book in high school. So when that movie came out, I was like, I know what page that's on. So I'm just saying. Be excellent to each other.
Oh my God.
All right, Tim. I'm so sorry. I got lost. I went down.
Yeah, we went down a rabbit hole there.
And there was that wormhole 10 minutes later, and Tim was like, I have no recollection. I have no memory. What happened?
So, John Jerome, he says Pazuzu is the demon of the southwest wind, known for bringing famine during dry seasons and locusts during rainy seasons. Is that who is here now? Because they need to go. I'm just saying. Sorry. Bad joke. Sorry.
Oh, it's too funny.
Oh, I'm ready for change, guys.
Look,
I want to change back to the way it was a year ago.
No, never backward, always forward.
I'll take backwards at this point. I'm done with this crap.
I just would like another parallel, like where I'm skinny, blonde, and rich, and could go on a tan on a boat, and I'm good with that.
I'll take the skinny and rich part.
You would want to be on a boat somewhere parked in the South Seas in the crisp blue water, and you could catch fish and cook it on the bank.
Can we be like treasure hunters?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. If you had a parallel,
if I were rich, that's what I would do.
What was your parallel life, Tim, if you had a parallel life?
Ooh.
Oh, probably a sideshow carny. That's me. That was definitely my past life.
Well, I could definitely be a fortune teller in the Carney show. You know,
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Look around for a one thin dime. Come. See the bearded lady.
Yes.
See Sean go and lift.
I would be one of the freaks.
Unbelievable weights. And see Zarina, who knows all, who sees all. Come closer. One thin dime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Come closer.
It's Madame Zarina.
Madame Zarina. I'm the bearded woman.
Not today, but sometimes.
Right. That's true. Teresa says that she's with you on the beach, Serena. I don't know. It seems like, are they having a conversation in our chat that I have been neglecting?
Apparently.
I'm sorry, guys. Oh, you know what it is here? You know what? I was right. Hold on. So Lume Star says, hey, I just noticed something. 2020 looks like Zozo. Maybe that's why this year's so crazy. And then Jean Jerome, this is where he said, that's Pazuzu associated with the desert and pestilence. Dude, that I said, is that what's going on now? That's what Jean Jerome. Look at that. I didn't even know what he was talking about, and I knew what he was talking about. See? He and I. We're there. We don't even know it.
I'm telling you, there's just a whole other subtext of universe that happens when we're on into the abyss. I'm just saying.
Well, all of us kind of have this like connection, and you guys are part of this like crazy spiritual path that I've got going on. Oh, which reminds me, I had this crazy dream the other day. At least it was crazy to me. So I was
naked, right?
I was not naked.
Okay,
no.
I was just kind of worried there. Listen, we don't want to scar Zarina. We don't want to
scar anybody.
Listen, the thing says Zarina has seen. Ain't nobody gonna scar this.
Then we got a party.
Tim,
nice.
We'll have to have that conversation another time.
Okay.
A party like it's 1999.
I want to go, but I want to watch. I just want to see what happens. So, but I might partake a little bit. Anyways, I had this crazy dream the other day. I was at a haunted location. I don't know what the place was. It was a brick building, and we were in our room. And one of the people who was there was like the host. She took us into this room where she's kind of been like sleeping in. Like it was just like a mattress on the floor. Like she's just like temporarily staying there while she hosted paranormal teams to investigate. And so we go in this room and she shows me this jewelry box. She's like, hey, check out this jewelry box. And I found this jewelry box and I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, there's weird energy to it. And I'm looking at it, kind of like examining it, And I go and I open it, and there's a necklace, and it's just a really thin chain. And I don't know what's on the pendant. It's a small, roundish with linear design. I don't really know what it was. I don't think that was important. But I took the necklace out of the jewelry box, and I'm holding it in my hand with the chain kind of hanging over my hand like this, and I'm looking. Next thing I know, the door slams shut, and then the lights start going crazy, and then things are just like going like spiritually insane, like
disco. It was disco.
It was very much like disco. A lot more scarier, and it seemed really real. And so I was like, okay, well, obviously I should not have this necklace out. So I took the necklace. I apologized. I put the necklace back in the jewelry box. I closed it up. I said, I'm so sorry. I'll make sure no one messes with this again. I took the jewelry box, to the girl. I said, this jewelry box needs to be kept someplace safe where no one is going to fuck with it. Do not open it. Put it away and forget about it. And we left. That was my dream.
I wish I got dreams like that.
And I still remember. It's very vivid. I could tell you who the people were in the dream. I don't think that's really important. But it's just like, what? It's just crazy. But there's some sort of warning in that dream. I've had dreams before with warnings. This dream is a warning.
Yeah.
Was it a warning to me? Was it a warning to the people in the dream? I don't know. But it's part of this leveling up crap that you're telling me all about lately.
I don't know anything about that innocent look kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I had dreams like that, because my dream the other day, so we're in, like, you know, where they have this big church festival, like, you know, they're having like the little carnivals that they have when they have at churches. So I'm there, but I'm with my son, and my son is like about 7 years old at that time. And he's like 25 now. He's, you know, and so, but at that time he's about 6 or 7. So all of a sudden we're just walking around our thing or whatnot. And all of a sudden I feel this presence, and I turn and I look, and there's this woman with the dark, you know, brunette hair, and these menagerie of women that are with her. And she comes in to the festival, but she's not a woman. She's a demon. So we look at each other and we're like, bitch, it's on. So we're like fighting energy balls, shit's happening, things getting destroyed. I mean, it was like literally like rock and rubble. It was crazy. And then like, it was like, and all of a sudden it was just like, I could hear everything going on, talk, but I wasn't verbal. And I was like trying to call on St. Michael, and I couldn't get it up. And she goes, you have lost your faith. And it pissed me off. And so then I was able to call out, and I started evoking St. Michael and doing my, you know, things. And all of a sudden you hear that, you know, the horn, that trumpet that blows. And all of a sudden you can just feel this boom, 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 and that light come in, and they come in kicking ass. Him and his angels blew her the refrigerator back. And it was just like, and then she looks at me, because they are just, you know, outside of wherever that you know, the light and everything is, and they can't get back in. And as she looks at me, she says, we're not done. And I looked at her and I said, I know. And then I turned to my son and said, we need to get out of here. And he says, no, Mom, this is the safest place that we can be right now. And then I woke up, because I was like freaking the refrigerator out, and like where my clothes are, like I have all my clothes hung, and there was, of course, a little imp thing that was hiding behind my clothes. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm saging, casting shit out. So opening up my door so this bitch is not doing parkour in my room and kicking us out. So that's the type of shit that I had to deal with like a couple days ago. And I'm like, so I'm kind of like, what are your thoughts on that, Tim?
Too much tequila.
Too much tequila.
Too much tequila.
Not enough tequila, or I need, or either that, or I need.
You need to
smoke
switch to bourbon like I did.
No, I need some Bud. That's what I really need. And that'll.
Bud Light, that stuff is nasty. You need to at least drink Magic Hat.
That is not what. Even I'm talking about Sean Gilmore.
What? What are you talking about?
It just went over him.
What?
What Bud? It's not Bud Light.
Bud Lightyear? Buzz Lightyear. I'm innocent. You can't take away my innocence.
I have no idea. Okay, Tim is like
Tim is just like he's trying to figure it out himself. He's like, what?
So what's going on, Tim? You're awful quiet over there.
I'm just letting you guys go.
He was talking about Bud last week, and he was a freaking ex-cop, so that was fun.
Oh. Well, guys, hey, I gotta. It's 11, almost 11 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's definitely bedtime.
It is definitely bedtime.
Well, thank you guys for having me on tonight.
No, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for letting us have you.
It was a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be a blast, and Thank you. Please come on again.
You got it. Bye,
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
Guys. Take care.
Serena, don't go.
What?
Don't go.
What? I'm not going nowhere.
That was awesome. Tim Shaw,
That
thank you
is.
so much. That was awesome.
I love it. Long time.
I wanted to kind of like, I mean, you guys really hit it off and it was awesome. I really wanted to do this, and I was hoping to ask Tim to do this, but I understand it's late and it's time to go, but we need to do healing.
Okay.
You need it.
Yes.
I need it. Our kids need it. The world needs it. We all need it.
Yes.
There's a lot of crazy things going on. The corona is getting stronger, and it's time to send that healing energy out.
Ready?
Once again.
Can I go first? Because I feel it bubbling.
I knew you would. I knew you would. You're on a roll tonight. So
I dismiss any conflict, any harm, any negativity from those that are tuned in with us tonight. I remove negativity, negative people, toxic ties out of their life. We sever and we break any past vows or contracts that no longer serve them and serve their highest potential and good. I call forth healing and abundance, and I establish security, peace, and love in their life. And I remove all doubt and fear. You do not have permission to settle here.
Amen.
Ooh.
All right. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father, Archangel Michael, all of our spirit guides, Raphael, and all of the archangels, please come and gather around all of us and guide all of us. And please help heal all of us. Help guide us all into safety. And please help guide all of our society into making better choices that will lead us to more security, better health, and better leadership all around. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for guiding us and bringing us all together tonight.
Sure.
Amen. Thank you, everybody, for coming on tonight. I'm going to end the show a little bit differently tonight because I love this. So this is a song, guys. It's from a YouTube channel called Playing for Change. And it is a Bob Marley song called One Love. Sing it, Zarina.
Let's get together and be let's get together and
Just one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for those of blessing and all? But some and God just to save us all. I wanna feel around one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Come on, let's get together and feel alright. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Let's join together, fight this holy arm again. When the man comes, there will be no doom. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. We got one love, one heart. So let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright.
All right, guys.
I just want to say, this is Arena reminding you guys to be the medicine.
Thank you for that. Yes, everyone, please be the medicine. Everyone know it is one love, one light. Everybody, I love this song. I was on vacation and the DJ played the song at the pool, and man, I just busted out singing because this song hits me in my heart every time I hear it. Playing with for Change, this YouTube channel, they go to their YouTube channel, watch their videos, and it's amazing, guys, what they do. It will bring tears to your eyes once you connect empathically, I promise. So everybody, with that, I hope you all take in the healing light and love we sent you all tonight. And again, Tim Shaw, thank you for an awesome show. It was so much fun. We went down so many rabbit holes and everything. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. So thank you everybody for tuning in. And with that, I am going to wish you all a very happy rest of your week. I hope we helped you over the hump and help you carry on to a very safe and happy and healthy rest of your week, and you are able to enjoy your weekends or whatever your day off may be. So with that, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. We will see you all next week. Zarina, do you know who our guest is next week?
No.
You want to know who our guest is next week?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You do? You really want to know?
I know. I want to know. I really want to know. What?
What you want to know? What you really want to know? So, our guest next week, because it is the 15th. Wow, July is flying by, guys. We're having the Goose.
Oh, yes, I forgot this.
Of his podcast.
What?
They'll be on the Goose's show. What's Goose's show called again?
The Crypto Heads.
The Cryptic Paranormal Show.
I call them Crypto Heads.
Yep, that's what he calls his listeners, the Crypto Heads. They are on tomorrow night. They have a great guest too. So they're here on the RU Media Network. Make sure to check them out, and then check us all out next Wednesday. And then after that, it is my daughter's birthday on the 22nd. So there's no show on the 22nd. I'll be celebrating the birth of my eldest daughter. So, but then we come back.
I'll be available for a date on Wednesday. Just saying.
There it is. She's throwing it out there. She wants a Tinder magic thing.
No, Tinder.
Wow. Well, you can make that comparison.
Taco.
I was going back to the thing about the magic and the Tinder thing. I was trying to.
No.
Totally.
Just tacos. Just tacos. Just tacos. All right, Sean.
I had to stop because there's a joke in there that is not paranormal appropriate. Ooh. So paranormal appropriate. I just made that up. Look at that.
I know.
That is not paranormal appropriate. I
know. That's so PA.
That's a PP.
I know. It's like, you know how things are politically correct? PC. Yeah. Now you just invented a whole new parallel thing of awesomeness.
Parallel paranormal appropriate. PA.
Yeah. So, you know, we coined that right here on Into the Abyss. So people start to say it. They stole it from us.
That's right.
John Gilmore.
All right, guys. It is time to go. Thank you for tuning in even longer. Everyone have a great week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.